Okay, hello everyone, and greetings wherever you are. Kingsley, I just want to say thank you for jumping on this morning and, calling a few of us to get on here. It's such a green time and just unprecedented time. It's almost like every day things are happening that we never imagined that as Cameroonians, as human beings, we can experience such. We can experience, this kind of what I'd like to term as barbaric. It's what it is. But I think what is even more um, um, more sad about this, more shocking, is how we are so disconnected in lack of empathy, for lack of a better way to express it. So I just want to say thank you for having us on. This is such an open forum. If you're viewing this from wherever you are, and if you want to join the conversation, you can contact any one of us so we can send you the link so we can have this conversation. It's very important in a time like this that we talk, we air our voices authentically, our grievances. Having the right conversation is where we are today. So I'm just going to go ahead and maybe introduce everyone at the, on here today. And, and as I call your name, you get to talk. Maybe I'm going to start with Michael Taki. I know that you're in Europe, and just really I'm happy also that you're here. And what do you take? How do you feel when you heard this news today?
Thank you very much, Elizabeth, and good evening, co-panelist. I think it's it's one of those things where sometimes when they happen, you think you are not hearing properly, or perhaps it's a dream. Because yesterday, when the ghost town kicked off, I was actually on a similar program like this with Mr. Ekane's son, Muna Ekane.
Dad burned all his jeans after I gifted
So
him these.
we were
That's easy to
actually,
and also keep you looking sharp.
kind of, I would say, sympathizing with the situation of his dad without actually knowing that less than 24 hours he will be no more. So I got this news. I was terribly, terribly shocked. I was terribly shocked because I spoke with him yesterday, and I can imagine he himself did not know that this is what is going to happen to his dad, let alone to the rest of the family. And when you tend to even reflect a little bit, like, okay, what exactly happened? This is a guy who was arrested, I think, over a month ago for doing absolutely nothing, for actually just being a Cameroonian and somebody who happens to have a view that the country or things need to change. His life just got, kind of messed up in a way which, yes, everybody's gonna die, but you wouldn't want to die in prison, especially for something that you didn't do, especially in a very, I would say, despicable condition. Your family is not there. I mean, it's horrible. It's horrible. I think I'll just reserve my comments for now while
Yes.
we go through the rest of it. It's absolutely horrible.
It is shocking, Mike. I could hear in your voice, and we all feel that way. Just like you said, to think that you were just speaking to him
Yeah,
and you were connecting. And I mean, it's like people are being slaughtered like cows. Do you understand?
absolutely.
The
It
cows
doesn't.
that are preyed upon.
You see, the thing is that we upon all, like, the horrifying thing is that this guy, I would say, died from suffocation because his medical equipment got seized. It's not like it's not like they were seized. And I hear that from a very authenticated source that his legal advisors actually intervened to say, what is wrong? Give this guy's thing. Even saying that he is very ill. Let's, why are you keeping him? look for a better treatment facility for him? No. So it's unbearable to think that somebody could be executed, somebody could be assassinated by their own country in public, because this is what it is. This is what it is. If somebody cannot really see how, you get arrested only to go and be killed for doing absolutely nothing, when they themselves, the perpetrators are the ones who are supposed to, I don't know the kind of prison to put them in. You come and arrest someone, and then at the same time, you're knowing very well that this person has a medical condition. But then, what did they do that they merit this kind of treatment? You cannot explain.
Yes.
The Minister of Communication himself today even said, he made it very clear that he doesn't think it was a good decision to arrest this guy, considering his pre-medical situation. No, even even in Gaza, when you hear about this Israeli bombing, they strongly condemn hospitals. It is an international law. You cannot be arresting go to the hospital to arrest someone or arrest people in their sickbed. What do you want to do with them? This is what they merely did with this guy. He did nothing, and yet he had underlying medical problems that he would have been here today had they allowed him to look after himself the way he has been doing. But instead, what did they do? They took him to prison, they locked him up, seized his medical devices, and then what did they expect to happen? This is a result.
Yeah, they killed him. It's as simple as
Killed
that.
him.
Yes, they did. So Herman, we're just, it's like, how do you make sense of this? And that's why this conversation is so important. And I know you've changed your name to Free Cameroon. Very appropriate, indeed. And so, how do you feel? Where were you? I know you said earlier you couldn't even talk. This is the first time you brought yourself to speak just because of the shock.
Je n'ai rien pu faire depuis le matin. Il est 15 heures ici. Donc, je me suis réveillé. Tellement le Cameroun est dans le cœur que dès qu'on se réveille, la première chose, c'est d'avoir des nouvelles du Cameroun. Donc, dès que je me suis réveillé, j'ai pris mon téléphone et je ne sais pas pourquoi, c'est la première chose que j'ai trouvée. Maître Sim, Anicet Ekane est mort. J'ai vraiment voulu croire que c'était une rumeur comme la dernière fois. J'ai réellement espéré que ce serait une rumeur comme la dernière fois. Donc, vous savez, quand vous avez ce genre de nouvelles, vous allez directement sur d'autres sites pour essayer de faire un recoupement. Donc, je n'ai même pas eu besoin de continuer. La façon par laquelle c'était présent partout, j'ai su que cette fois-ci, ça devait être sérieux. Et puis, sur Internet, je suis allé sur Facebook et c'était partout. Donc, la première chose qui m'est venue à l'esprit, c'était de pleurer. Pour vous dire vrai, c'était de pleurer. Donc, j'ai pleuré et j'ai essayé d'arranger, mais puisque je me préparais pour aller au travail, j'ai essayé quand même, puisque je dois conduire, il fallait pas que je sois quand même dans un état d'insécurité aussi. J'ai essayé de reprendre mes esprits pour que la route ne soit pas dangereuse pour moi aussi. Et j'ai tout fait pour ne pas écouter les nouvelles pendant que je conduisais. J'ai tout fait pour changer de sujet, mais c'était difficile. Et dès que je suis arrivé au travail, depuis le matin, j'ai rien pu faire. Donc, j'ai essayé d'appeler, d'avoir le point de vue d'autres personnes, puisque la première chose qui vient à ce moment, c'est qu'est-ce que je fais? Et j'avoue que c'était dangereux pour ceux qui étaient à côté de moi. Il fallait pas que quelqu'un soit à côté de moi ou me dise quelque chose. Donc, je me suis retrouvé à engueuler des personnes, à avoir un langage inapproprié. Je cherchais de l'aide, en fait. Pour faire simple, I was looking for some help.
Yeah.
Donc, j'ai appelé quelques personnes. Ça ne passe toujours pas. Je ne peux pas mentir, ça ne va pas. Si je me retrouve seul, je vais encore pleurer probablement. Ça va encore me faire mal. Et je me suis dit, qu'est-ce qu'on fait? La mort d'Anicet Ekane ne peut pas être un événement comme un autre au Cameroun. On ne peut pas. Et c'est pourquoi quand j'ai vu ce live, je n'ai même pas demandé d'autorisation. Je n'ai pas su qui allait être là. J'ai dit, il faut que je vienne dire ce que je pense. Et j'espère vraiment que pendant que je le dis, ceux qui l'ont tué, le régime en place, le gouvernement, qu'ils écoutent, qu'ils comprennent à quel point ils sont en train de poignarder le peuple camerounais dans son âme. Comme Michael disait, j'ai vu le message de Maître Hippolyte qui se plaignait le 15 novembre dernier de ce que le matériel d'extraction d'oxygène est toujours sur la banquette arrière de la voiture qui a été saisie. Comment est-ce que quelqu'un qui est humain, qui est né d'une femme, peut traiter un autre humain qui est né d'une femme de cette façon? Est-ce que c'est possible? Est-ce qu'à cause du pouvoir, il faut en arriver à tuer totalement tout ce qu'on peut avoir de conscience? Est-ce que ça signifie qu'au Cameroun, on doit considérer que parce qu'il y a le pouvoir à défendre, les hommes ont totalement tué leur conscience? C'est ça les premières idées qui me sont venues à l'esprit. Merci, Elisabeth.
My word, yes, it's we're people who are suffering from trauma, and it's easy to say, "Oh, that's them, that's not us." Well, I'm here, I'm good. How do we keep going on? How do we keep going on? And you're here, it's over there, and look at how it's impacting us. And that's why it matters for us to have a discussion. Ari, I I'm so eager to hear, how you got the news, and how symbolic is this? What does this mean? Do you even have a meaning now?
You are muted, Ari.
Well, let me start by saying today is a dark day for Cameroon, a dark day for the resistance. I'm trying to figure out the gravity with how I can define the gravity of this moment. Me, like everybody else, was the first thing that popped. My phone was exploding with messages, and few people had called, but it was 4 a.m. in the morning. I missed those calls, and then I woke up and saw all of these messages. And at the beginning, I was sad about it. And then I gradually started getting angry about it. And then I got to the point where I said, we must do something about it, right? I went through that process in a very short period of time. I made a few calls. I screamed at a few people, but I sat down to reflect on what this moment means for Cameroon, right? This moment in Cameroon's history can only be equitable or made equitable to what happened when the UPC was fighting for the independence of Cameroon, and the hundreds of people who were slaughtered in the process. That's what this moment can equate to. This moment can also be equated to the children and families that were massacred in Gabu, the Northwest Province, and the several massacres that have taken place that have gone unpunished, and that we have continued our journey as a country as if those events never took place. And so this moment must not go unpunished, unnoticed, and people must be held accountable this time. This is what it's, my research in law tells me that this is a state crime. This is a crime where the apparatus of the state is used to bring to death a political opponent. It is a crime worse than any other crime you could know of. It is it's a crime that is in transgression of the Geneva Conventions on how to treat people. It's in contradiction to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which is part of the Cameroon Constitution. Unfortunately, I think about this thing in the context of the law because that's where my training comes from. But if you qualify these things, it's the worst of crimes. It's almost as you know when we talk about the worst criminals that we know of, whether we're talking about Saddam Hussein using gas against his or chemical weapons against his own people. It is the equivalent. This crime is the equivalent of that. It is choking a human being to death by depriving them of life, depriving them of oxygen, slow killing, the worst that can happen. The crime itself is gruesome, but the impact of the crime on a country tells us that in this country, Cameroon, nobody can be spared if you have an opinion that is contrary to that of the regime. And let me talk about accountability, because that's what this is all about. If there were no elections on October 12th, and if the elections that were held on October 12th didn't go the way that they went, Anicet Ekane will still be alive. And 40 other people who have been killed, and thousands of people who have been jailed. The only reason this is happening is because Mr. Paul Biya, lost the elections to Issa Chiromo. This is why Cameroonians are losing lives. Their lives. This is why people are losing their property. When we talk about people who say they lost their property as a result of the only person to be held accountable in this conversation is President Paul Biya, who has the blood on his hands of Anicet Ekane and the 40 others who have lost their lives, and has people in jail now who may be facing the same exposure as Anicet Ekane just faced. That's the accountability. It goes right up to the top. The one person that we have to begin to hold accountable is President Paul Biya. He is responsible for this. And this is why this country must demand the departure of President Paul Biya, because he is not the elected president of Cameroon. And he's leveraging, using the tools, the instruments of taxpayers to kill the very taxpayers that are supposed to have mandated him to serve in that position. It is a contradiction beyond proportion that we cannot, we the people of Cameroon, if you have an iota of Cameroonian blood in you, you cannot accept this as normal. And this is why we must call on every friend of Cameroon, every human rights defender, every financial institution that has anything to do with Cameroon. We must demand sanctions against Cameroon in ways that we've never seen before. We must go after these individuals, the individual people. President Paul Biya is individually responsible for this, because he is the one responsible for stealing the elections that has led to all of this happening. That's accountability. We must demand it at this time. So action is demanded of our people. We cannot save lives by staying at home because we stayed at home and Anicet Ekane died. We cannot save lives by staying at home because we stayed at home and the people are in detention. We need to take action to get Mr. Biya out of office. That is the only thing that will save lives in Cameroon. The threat to peace, the threat to safety of our people, the threat to prosperity, the threat to democracy in our country is brought upon us by one person, Paul Biya. He has to go. This to me is the sentiment that I have at this moment. It's unconscionable that tomorrow we wake up and treat tomorrow as if it was normal.
Ari, is that not why we are where we are? I would like for us Cameroonians all over to ask ourselves, and this is very hard, how did we get here? There is a certain level of tolerance that just keeps increasing, because we are so scared, we don't, for whatever reason. When we really understand, Ari, you said something on a call, is that when you sell your morality for daily bread, I wrote it down. A country that has sold its moral grounds for daily bread, people who are selling their morality for daily bread, has led us here. And we are killing a human being for being human, for having compassion, for fighting. He could have just lived his life. As we all know, he would have a comfortable life.
For 2,000 francs CFA.
Yes.
That's what the minister did the other day, giving people 2,000 francs to stay. Not,
Yes.
Not to follow the rules that what President-elect Chiroma said. 2,000 francs. A whole life is lost for 2,000 francs. How much do they still have as balance in their pocket now? How is that 2,000?
That is the example. The moral exchange for daily bread.
Yeah.
So who we are, the dignity of our humanity, who we are as a people is I'm asking us now, anybody listening, that you can be bought with 2,000 francs. That's what we have allowed ourselves to be brought down to. If we do not say enough is enough, this is the end of it. It is outrageous. I said this morning, we should stop being civil. We should stop being civil. Come on. People, war has been declared on the people in Cameroon. And we are mindful about how we gesture, how the words. No, we understand that the president that is on seat, Mr. Biya, it doesn't need to be there. But it's not only that. Guys, we have gangsters. I've been saying this, like Sicilian mafias. And we're saying, oh, they're lawmakers. And here we are today.
I think what Cameroonians fail to understand is that even in your family, as a parent, if you tell a child that, oh, don't touch that thing, and then the next thing you are the one touching that same thing, you are telling that child that thing, there are no rules. How can you imagine the highest authority in the country, the Constitutional Council, in broad daylight, sits there and declare somebody that they know already, that the people know, because it's basically what it was and what it is. They asked people to go and vote. The people went and voted. They know whom they voted for. It's not something that is hidden. They voted for someone. And then you come, instead of declaring that someone that I voted for, you declare somebody else. And then the next day you turn and ask me to respect you. How does that work? Right? How does that work? Since the 12th of October, 2025, Cameroon has stood still. We're not moving. We will not move. Anybody who thinks that this is one of those, I would say, noises that they make and with time, things are going to go ahead normally. Recently, I think I heard that Eto has been made whatever it is. Those are the pacifications. Those are the things that the country understand very well, that people, let's do this and throw it to them. And they'll be fighting or they'll be talking about it.
Yeah,
No,
Eto actually fired McBride today.
Yeah.
That was the intention, was that Cameroonians will shift to talking
Yes.
about football.
Yes.
You know,
that is what they do. That is what they do. They have a line of activities piled up to distract us. But I'm telling Cameroonians, please, we will not move.
Don't move on.
We are still on the 12th of October 2025. What we did on that day is something that will never ever happen again in the history of this country. Cameroonians have never ever agreed to come together the way we did.
Yeah.
And for you to just think we're going to move on, it's impossible.
They themselves who stole the victory haven't moved on.
No.
Well, because another thing that's happening, we must take note. This is astounding. Listen, I say we are traumatized because when you have so many things hitting you at once, we are not even made as human beings to be able to focus on all of these things, right? And we have so much hitting. Guys, do you realize that we have ministries that are not functioning?
Yes.
Because
and he has not reshuffled his cabinet because they don't know who to put where, who to reward for what. So they haven't moved on. There's no new government. There's no new system in place.
No.
It's almost like there was never an election because they
to put cherry on the cake. What's the deal? They are busy intimidating people with all these recordings and all this tapping on people. So even these ministers are scared, and then they feel if you fire them, they may jump on the other side. It is crazy. Nobody's working now. This is a country. The economy is not moving. They're taking money from taxes, taking money from as if it's personal. My question, I wanted for any government person that is listening to this, I have a right, for it is my country. The blood that runs in you is the same blood that runs within me. You own nothing more than I own. So I'm not begging you, but I'm appealing to every single one of you who have lost your consciences. And I am saying that what I want you to know for a fact is that this will end. You may choose to think about it now or later, because I live in America. I bet you there were people 400 years ago who didn't know slavery will end. I bet you there are people who didn't know colonialism will end. The first part of it, we're dealing with the second part. And I am saying that, there's no fear, and I say this to it's Ayolo, it's Ngongo, these are bandits. I hope somebody records it. They're bandits. And what's his name? Tanganji. This is a joke. This is an uneducated human being who can barely put two sentences together to make sense. And he's a projection of his insecurities, and he persists and consistently goes on and carries on. And who Tanganji ridiculous is an embarrassment to me as a Cameroonian. He's an embarrassment to a baby who's been born today. He is an embarrassment to every single person because he has no human. He has sold his soul for change. Nothing. We are human beings when we understand the value of who we are, and he has it. We are dealing with a gang of bandits. We're dealing with a band of Sicilian mafias. And you need to know that. You need to know.
Elisabeth, le crime est tellement odieux, le crime est tellement mauvais que René s'a dit ce matin, il dit Anicet Ekane était mon ami. Est-ce que c'est aujourd'hui que tu te souviens qu'il était ton ami ou est-ce qu'il était ton ami quand on l'emprisonnait aussi? Est-ce que tu peux avoir ton ami sachant qu'il est en prison, sachant qu'il ne respire pas, sachant que tout son appareil d'extracteur, son extracteur d'oxygène est confisqué, et que tu ne t'es jamais demandé à quel moment mon ami, ce qu'il peut être en train de traverser. Et le crime est tellement odieux que il commence à se désolidariser de l'action des autres ministres quand il dit si c'était moi, je ne l'aurais pas fait? Est-ce que c'est une façon de reconnaître que ceux qui l'ont fait le font sans consulter personne? Donc, il est en train de reconnaître qu'il y a une telle anarchie au Cameroun que Atanganji peut décider souverainement de devenir le chef de la police pour arrêter les gens, le chef de l'armée pour envoyer les gens au tribunal militaire, le chef de l'administration territoriale, le chef des partis. N'oubliez pas d'où tout ça part.
Le ministère de communication.
Le ministère de la communication. Donc, est-ce que René Emmanuel Sadi, s'il nous écoute, est-ce qu'il était en train de nous envoyer un message subliminal pour nous dire Monsieur Atanganji a pris le contrôle total et nous sommes en train de regarder? Ça, c'est un message que chaque Camerounais devrait relayer. Et il est important que tous les Camerounais, toutes les organisations internationales, tous les bailleurs de fonds, tout le monde comprenne que un groupe de personnes est en train de rendre le Cameroun totalement anarchique. C'est un pays où on ne peut pas avoir de nomination, on ne peut pas avoir de nouveau gouvernement, on ne peut avoir aucune sécurité. Et est-ce que c'est à ce pays-là qu'on veut vraiment faire confiance pour la suite en termes de fonds, en termes de collaboration? Regardons le communiqué de l'Union européenne aujourd'hui. Regardons le communiqué. Peut-être l'ambassade des États-Unis n'a pas encore réagi. Mais est-ce que c'est vraiment ce genre de pays? Quelle image? C'est vraiment l'image de ce genre de pays qu'ils veulent donner. C'est un groupe totalement illégitime depuis le 12 octobre. Totalement et entièrement, et il faut le dire, totalement illégitime. Les procès-verbaux sont là. Ils sont traçables. Ils sont visibles par tout le monde. Et ceci ne serait pas arrivé s'il n'y avait pas eu l'élection du 12 octobre. Donc, ça signifie qu'au Cameroun, à cause d'une élection présidentielle, il n'y a plus aucune sécurité. Est-ce que c'est le message qu'on envoie que la démocratie qui a été vendue à l'Afrique était un piège? Est-ce que les pays occidentaux essaient de nous dire que la démocratie qui avait été présentée, c'était en fait le piège où tout le monde aurait été susceptible d'être tué? Parce que ça, c'est le type de question où il est important que la communauté internationale nous réponde un peu. Est-ce que la démocratie pour l'Afrique est synonyme de mort de 50 personnes sans aucune suite? Est-ce que ça signifie que la crise anglophone, qui était déjà un autre piège, un autre problème sérieux, les massacres de Ngabou, est-ce qu'il faut qu'on s'habitue déjà? Parce qu'il faut qu'on nous dise. Est-ce qu'il faut, c'est une façon de nous dire, OK, préparez-vous et habituez-vous à ce que de temps en temps, on vienne vous tuer comme ça sans qu'il n'y ait de suite. Ça, si le ministre Sadi peut continuer un peu à la suite de son communiqué d'aujourd'hui, à renseigner un peu plus les Camerounais sur ce qu'il voulait dire, ça, ce serait très intéressant. Donc, ce sont des idées qui nous viennent.
I think, Herman, I just want to pick up from what you're saying about Sadi. It's actually a vindication of President-elect Issa Chiroma, because one of the things that he said was that when you are the Minister of Communication, you actually are just given communications to pass out. And sometimes you want to believe that the other people you're working with are human beings, that they've told you the truth. And it's after you've read that communication and you struggle to defend it and you go back and you sit back and you watch, and you discover that these guys lied. I will take an example, the case of the two children and their moms who were shot in the north. When you watch that clip back of Issa Chiroma saying that that was not in Cameroon, he believed that that was not in Cameroon, because that's what whoever gave him the communication told him. He actually believed it. It's not like he was lying about something that happened in his own backyard. I'm sure that when he went home and they said, no, but this is Cameroon, he was probably shocked. Now, I'm sure that when it came to the Anglophone crisis, there were people who coordinated information and passed it across, and he only relayed it. So what René Sadi did today was that he preempted it. He knew it would be coming to him to communicate this. They would want him to lie. There were several lies that we are going to debunk this evening about the death of Anicet Ekane, the murder of Anicet Ekane. Let's not use death as if he died in his sleep, or he was sick and he died. About the state-sanctioned murder of Anicet Ekane. There were several lies. So they were already preparing these lies and probably crafting a communique that they would have given Rene Emmanuel Sadi to come and present to Cameroonians. And if they brought that communique, he would have had no choice unless he resigns. But I think there's a problem with the CPDM led regime in that it's like a cult. You don't leave easily. If you leave, you have a problem. You know, those who know how cultism works, those who watch Nigerian movies, when I watch Nigerian film, I know how that cult is ended for Nigerian university. You know, they leave cult. That is CPDM. Look at any man we try to leave CPDM. What say they? Condemned. Prison. This, you don't leave the cult called the CPDM. So this is the problem. So what happened is that he understood that they were going to come for him and he will have no choice than to lie, the biggest lie in Cameroon history. And he did not wait for them to come for that. He decided that he was going to preempt it and tell the truth. He has just told us clearly it is not something that the state sits back and say it's a national security issue. Let's sit down and watch and analyze and do. No, these are a few people, about 7 or to 10 of them, with their ping pong at the top, and Chantal there jiggling around. These are the people who have held Cameroon. They're not up to 10 who are controlling the country now. And these are the people who have decided they are the murderers who will kill, who will maim, who will kidnap Cameroonians. They have been kidnapping in the northwest and southwest regions. They have been kidnapping, they've mastered that art and they've transported it to the other sections of Cameroon. Cameroonians have just, I mean, there are things that we'll talk about going forward, about the legality even of an arrest, because in Cameroon, what people don't know is that there are time limits on which you can hold someone if you don't charge them. So we will come to that. But I just wanted to just pick up on that study issue.
And I just want to project something from what Herman said as well. I heard him. He kept talking about God. Right. Cameroon is one of those nations that strongly believe in the divine. We believe that there is God. There are many gods, but there is a God. There is God. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Atrocities are being committed in that country in the name of the government. And what do? You see a Tanganji in the church almost every day, having the biggest communion. Now, how do these men of God really feel? Hanging out, dining, whining, actually not only doing so, but advocating for these people. Let me put it that way. We are having one of the highest, the most treacherous political crisis in the country. The Catholic Church, where some of them were the observers, they have their own election results. They've not released them. This is a church. This is a religion. These are people who believe in God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The very God that we all Cameroonians believe in. Where is their moral compass? Where do they stand when things like this are happening? The government is arresting and locking people up incommunicado. I wouldn't want to talk much about the situation in the north and southwest regions with regards to the Anglophone crisis and stuff like that, because that is one of the sites that the religious authority completely zipped their mouth and watched the Anglophones, I would say the Anglophone question, being held by the government and be toiling with. Some of them know the history of this problem. Yes, they don't want to get involved into politics. If you don't want to get involved into politics, at least, where is your moral compass? You go to church, you preach every day to your flock. They come and they're crying before you. I've lost my uncle, I've lost my wife, I've lost my husband, my son, my daughter to bullets. You come to church every day and then you know exactly where the source of this bullet is. You come and you stay quiet. Fine. The people have been called upon to come and carry out a democratic process, which is common to any civilized society. Come and vote. Choose a leader. You, the religious authority, the imams, the bishops, the whatever they call themselves, you are there, the reverend fathers. Some of them took part into playing an observatory position during this election. You saw what happened. How many of them came out to say, oh, you know what, Mr. Bia, or whoever it is, this is what I observed, Chiroma won. How many of them even came out to say, you know what, I think we should let the people speak. Let the truth from the ballot box be declared. Just say it, because it is the truth. It is not about you. You didn't make it. It's not you who voted or who chose to vote Chiroma. It's the people. Stand there just as a referee to say, please, can we maintain the truth at the ballot box? People were arrested in their dozens, in their thousands. The religious authorities are there. Some of these people that were arrested are their flock. You know, these are the people that they represent. These are the people that they give, you know, the moral and whatever counseling to. You watch them being taken to prison, all of them. Finally, it's got to a point where they take them, lock them up, kill them. So it will be very interesting to hear what the religious authorities in Cameroon have to say about the killing of Anicet. It will be so interesting. I think, and they should be, you know, to be fair. I don't know. I think some of them should be very ashamed of themselves, because the first thing that they would have done, because after all this robbery, stealing from the people, the very thieves go hanging around with some of these religious authorities as to say, you know, we are the saints. How? In broad daylight.
Mike, you're touching an area that I'm not sure you want us to go down into. There's a lot of issues when it comes to the Catholic Church. I'm a Catholic, by the way, and I didn't want to add that. For those who know me, they know I even wanted to be a priest. I was in the seminary for 7 years, and then I left. So I spent time in Nigeria, understand the church. And one of the things that is wrong with the Catholic Church in Cameroon doesn't go further than the current Papa Nuncio. I'm sorry, he is a very big problem, and I'll tell you why. When Bia disappeared just to the run-up to the elections, and Cameroonians were questioning, where is Bia? Bia needed to validate that he's around. He met with the nuncio, and the question I have asked today is, what did you talk about? Did you hear a confession? Or what did you meet him to talk about, nuncio, that you did not hold a press conference and say, this is what we talked about? We are talking about Christianity, and it doesn't end with the Catholic Church. We are talking about Christianity, a religion which is built on John the Baptist going out and telling Herod that you're not qualified to marry Herodias. That is preaching to a political leader about his vice, to the extent that he died. If John the Baptist had not told Herod about his vices, he would not have died. Had Jesus Christ not challenged the political leaders of his day, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the teachers of the law, had he not gone into the temple and tampered with the money-making system of the chief priests by driving them out, he would not have died. Religion is not abstention from talking to political leaders. We have got Bishop Kuka in Nigeria doing exactly that. He talks there from the time he was a priest. He was preaching, he was challenging. We've got Reverend Father Mbaka, who challenged Chimaroke Namani, the governor of Enugu State, and told him that if you win the election again, I am going to take off my cassock. And Chimaroke lost.
I just want to say, Kingsley,
yes,
to your point, just hold on to your point. It is a question that I really have been wondering and asking, I bet a lot of us, is, you know, when you say, oh, we can't say anything political, that's politics, it's being human. What are you talking about? Jesus was. Ari, go ahead. Jesus was.
Well, I really want us to come back to this moment of this to what this moment means.
Yes.
Means, yeah.
Right.
Yes.
I want us to come back to what this moment means.
Mhm.
The death of a political opponent
Opponent.
killed as a result of an expression of his political affiliation
Yes.
and what that means. The church has its problems, all of those things has its problem. Today, we have to hold the right people accountable. It's
Yeah.
Paul Biya, it's a Tanganji, it's Ngongo, it's the colonel that had Anicet Ekane's equipment. We have to go after these people individually. They have families, they have homes, they have businesses, they have interests that we must go against. We have to go after these people directly, because this is an affront. They've just left a family, they've just destroyed a family now. They have just, for the 40, 50 people who have died, their families have been impacted. They have fathers of children. These fathers are sitting in jail now. If we think about all of those things, the lives of people have been maimed, people have been injured, hundreds of children are sitting in jail when they should in New Bell and PK14 when they should be in school. The only reason all of these people are detained is because Biya lost the election. It's because the people of Cameroon expressed on October 12th that they wanted change, and that change did not include Biya. And now Biya is still sitting there. And what I'm saying to Cameroonians is, if you wake up tomorrow and go about your business as if everything was normal, then you too are being an accomplice in this crime, in this crime against humanity. So for people who are asking what next or what action should take place, you begin tomorrow taking action against this regime. We must not stop. We must not rest. We have to hold these people accountable, directly accountable. Again, I keep saying they live in the same neighborhoods that we live. Their children go to schools, or their families are in the same communities that they live. They have investments in our communities. I think it's time for Cameroonians to start thinking differently about how we approach this and hold people accountable for the crimes that are being committed. If we cannot, it is the justice. Again, in Cameroon, it's the sovereignty of the people now that must decide how this country moves forward, as opposed to being held up by a few people who know very well that they are doing this contrary to the will of the people. And so we must challenge our brothers and sisters who are living in Cameroon today that your life is not safe because you think that you have shelter over your head today. But tomorrow, stepping out of your door, you don't know what is going to happen to you. So no one is safe. No one at this moment has the ability to have an expression of political opinion that is not necessarily aligned to the thugs in a 2D. So if you want to play it safe, you're actually just exposing yourself and your neighbors and your people to more danger. So it is time.
That point, not to cut you short, Ari, that point is super important.
Yeah.
I would like you to kind of simplify it a little bit further, because as an expert, right, people think that, oh, if I don't speak, I will hide in my house, I'm fine. Because that's what they will tell us. They say, oh, you guys are talking abroad because you are hiding. Could you please explain that point to the person who is living in, let me even say, even in my village?
Yes.
Because they travel, they will live in the village, they will say, oh, you know, it's happening in the city. But then they forget to understand that same city, they go there once in a while to do business. They will go there to sell, right? In the villages, they have nothing. They come, they bring their produce to exchange for money and exchange for other things that they may need in the villages. So people in the local, like the most simplistic, need to understand. Please explain to them that at the moment, there is no legitimate authority in Cameroon. For example, that police officer, that something, maybe a thief is breaking through your house, you call them and they come and solve the problem for you. There is nothing there. People seem to think that if I don't go out to protest, for example, I'm safe in my house. They are not safe. They are not safe.
Yeah. It's simple. You know, the reason we live in, you travel across the country and you see people build high fences around their homes. You build a beautiful house and you put a massive fence around it and nobody sees the beauty of the architecture. The reason that happens is because we've built a society where some people have and others do not. Today, it may be Anicet Ekane and his family. And we may think that we're not related. Oh, he was a politician. Tomorrow, it may be the person across the street from you. It may be the woman who has her business right next to you, that the SDO is going to come and tell her to open her business on a day of Vilmore. And maybe you think that that's her problem. It's not your problem. And so you move on. It may be the families that were lost in Gabo. And we felt that, oh, that's too distant, that's too far. Maybe the case of these women and 2 children that were shot up in the north. The little girl that was shot by a policeman, a 5-year-old girl shot by a policeman in Boya. It may be it may be me traveling to Cameroon in 2018 and for no reason put back on a plane to come back and not allowed to go into my own country for absolutely no reason. I am using these various scenarios to paint a picture that it is everybody that is a target, as long as you are not dancing to the rhythm of the regime.
And Are, even when you dance to the rhythm, isn't it true that in this kind of dictatorship where the government has been stolen, the laws are being used by those who have the guns, that even, let's pretend that we all are in the confines and we fit in these boxes where we're meant to be. You can move the wrong way and so nobody's safe because it just keeps shrinking. The egos keep getting bigger.
Yes.
And they're acquiring more. It could be your land. Maybe you're the guy who says, I'm a great businessman, nothing impacts me, and you just keep going. And someday, because I have the money, I have the power of the government. Remember these thieves? They can say, no, I want that property. Is exactly what's happening. Nobody is safe.
And the day that it's good, and the day that it's going to be you, if you keep looking away when it happens,
you will say make some noise.
There will be nobody there
Yes.
for you when that happens. And so
Are, just to say that people are very I was just looking at the comments, people are very enthused when you were talking about actions and all that. And I think it's good that we maybe really focus on some of the concrete things that Cameroonians can do to be able to actually bring about the change. I think when you were saying that, a lot of people say, yes, Array is already talking now. But I think before we get there, I think we already jumped ship a bit. Let's just recap a bit about Anicet Ekane, the person we are talking about today. This is the man who is the head of the Manidem party, and then he created the Union for Change that endorsed Issa Chiroma Bakari. I'm saying this because a lot of people might just hear his name in passing and they will not understand the gravity of what they've just done today. This is a guy who had a party. He had the Manidem party and he could have run to become president or just put in his name to be candidate like some did, knowing that they don't want to. He could have put his name so that he goes in history, oh, I'm a presidential candidate. No. When they stopped Kamto from becoming a candidate, he gave his party for Kamto to become candidates. Now, what happened was that they did everything they could, including changing things on the Minad website to fraudulently take his party away from him and give it to someone as Jodono Yega. And they used that to discredit Kamto. This guy did not give up in all this, because people get confused. They think that, okay, you know what, maybe this guy just caught one fever when he was in detention and died. He's had his health issues, and that is what is most important about this case, that they knew they were killing him. Let's not get it wrong. It's not a case of cardiac arrest. It's not a case of sepsis that just jumps in and catches the person overnight. This was deliberate. This was targeted. And it starts with someone, and we need to call the names like Elizabeth said at the start. The person behind this assassination, the architect, is Atanganji because of ego. The reason is Atanganji thought that he had taught Maurice Kamto a lesson, and by removing the MRSA. Then we had Anicet Ekane just come in as a patriot, as someone we love for Cameroon, as someone who wanted change at all costs, and gave Kamto another opportunity. Atanganji didn't like that. He went through everything, broke several laws for which he should be in prison, and disqualified Kamto using Elekam and the Constitutional Council, which are just tools of the CPDM. Then, again, being the master politician that he is, Anicet Ekane played that the stroke that he didn't see. He brought so many political parties together because Cameroonians were saying, we want a coalition, we want a coalition, we want a coalition. So what people thought was it had to be a coalition of the parties that had been confirmed. But there are more than 300 parties in Cameroon, and what he did was bring together many of them, including many of them under the platform called the Union for Change, that now endorsed Issa Chiroma Bakari. And why is this important? We have a regime that has capitalized on divide and rule. When it was me, John Fund, this time they said, oh, it was the Bamenda man, it was the Bamenda thing and all that. When it came to Kamto, they tried and made it and said it was a Bamileke thing, even though Michel Ndoki, all the others, Pendai Kuka, all of them were not from the Bamileke, but they successfully turned the MRSA and made it look like it was a Bamileke thing. The vice president, who is the acting president now, Mamadou Muta, is from the north. So it was a national party, but their machinery successfully made everyone think that it was a Bamileke, it was a tribal thing, which wasn't the case. So what they thought they were going to do this time with Issa Chiroma was to play that same script. But Anicet Ekane was way ahead of him. And why not? I mean, this guy is obviously more educated several times than Atanganji will ever be in real lifetime. So what happened is that he brought these parties together and they endorsed Chiroma, and Chiroma went ahead, rallied the country like you've never seen before. We saw in 3 months, he did something that none of them has done in their whole career. The country. So it wasn't about Chiroma as a person. It was about people like Anicet Ekane, Jekam Chamini, and the professor, is it Professor Oyono? And these people. Yeah, about, or these people are the ones. These are Cameroonians from north, south, east, different parts of the country would combine to create the phenomenon called Issa Chiroma Bakari. So don't get it twisted. For those who want to say, Chiroma was bad, these are the people. So what frustrated them and what made these guys to decide to commit murder is that they could not stomach the fact that these guys successfully backed a person and he defeated them hands down in the polls. So what they did was, on October 24th, it's good we are clear about the dates and the timelines. October 24th, that was a Friday, because I think 25th was Saturday. No, it was a Saturday. Actually, it was on a Saturday. Because 25th was Saturday, 26th Sunday, 27th morning, 24th was a Friday. Yes, it was a Friday, October 24th, 3 days before their constitutional council, because it's not the Constitutional Council of Cameroon, the Constitutional Council of Cameroon would abide by the rule of law. The Constitutional Council of the CPDM, before it was to announce the results, they went ahead and arrested Anicet Ekane and Jokan Chamini and many others. So when they want to sell it to you, when they want to say in the quartier, when they want to tell you that, oh, you know, these guys called, people were protesting, and that's why they broke the law, ask them, but wait, there had been no protests yet. So why did you arrest Anicet Ekane? Why did you arrest him? There had been the protests. In fact, the protests were announced, the first protests were announced on Sunday after they had been arrested. Sunday, the 26th of October. I remembered all these dates because actually that Sunday we went to London to protest. So these people had decided that it is either they confiscate power or they kill Cameroonians to get to power. And what Atanganji could not stomach was that Anicet Ekane was a bigger man than him in all ways, every way possible, and that he had shown that he loved Cameroon more than he loved power. And
I
he had
want
given
to add to something, and I'm single-handedly going to deal with one character, and I want the Cameroon government to understand Ayolo, Chantal, what's the other guy? Gongo. They are for the worse because they have Antanganji. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
I want them to know that nothing about you guys is good, but maybe it will be better. But Atanganji is the worst mistake that Chantal, Ngongo, Ayolo you have. In your little gang, you have one bad gang person, and because of that gang banger, you all are going to be.
That's why they have him, right?
That's
Yes.
Right? Having Atanganji is the worst.
Yeah.
And they got to think, Atanganji for this government that you keep will bring you down.
He's a
You
hitman.
need to start talking about the fact that Ngongo, Chantal, and the Scroonies, maybe you're there. But the worst thing that ever happened to you guys, just so you know, and when times for pay come, because payment will come, and Tanganji will get you to his level. And you know, his level is under the mud.
The bottom line is that all four of them, or five of them,
Not equal, I understand that. But right now, take somebody out. I'm not saying there's going to be grace, but I'm saying there might be snippets of it. But at Tanganji is the worst thing. Ara, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yes. But I would like to hear Chris's
Yes, Chris, please.
thoughts about
well,
the events of today. Right.
I'm a late sleeper, late riser, but somehow I got up today about 4, something like that, and I looked at my phone and I saw this message, and I screamed. And you guys will see my post on there, and then Alan responded that it is true, and him and I communicated. I'll tell you, I never knew Mr. Ekane. I never knew Jokam Chamini. But I will tell you, the reason I'm sitting here today, of course, Eric was the front person, but the only reason I could entertain Eric approaching me to be here was because of, first of all, Jokam Chamini. Eli, I sent you one of the videos. These two people are the ones that made me to believe that I can spend my time again on Cameroon. Because I followed somehow my frustration. I ran into a video interview, an excellent interview with Mr. Chamini that gave me so much education, that talked about the Douala group, that talked about the Fumban meeting, that talked about the plan to get to Yaoundé and install a unified a leader chosen by a group of the parties. He spoke about their efforts of how they've been talking to each and every one. In fact, when Eric called me, I told him the same thing I told the Amber people when they used to call me sometime, and I would say, listen, I do not believe that you guys are fighting a revolution because it's all happening in Bamenda, Boy, and Yaoundé. I mean, and the rest of the place, but in the areas that matters. And that, to me, it wasn't doing what I think it should be done. The same thing I told Eric, I said, look, I will not participate in anything until I know there is a consensual candidate. When he talked to me about the project to get journalists to educate, I believed in it, but I felt the same way. And then I ran into this tape, to this interview, where this man educated me. I'm sitting glued to the TV, and I was soaking everything that Mr. Chamini was talking about. And he said Cameroonians should focus on their vote. That's when I heard about the DSO. I heard about the software they're preparing and the things that they were doing. And then I started to connect with Eric. And then, not even realizing that behind Mr. Chamini, there was Mr. Ekane. And then I found the two of them, the most humble but very determined people that I trusted them because their points were so humble, so humble. Then I found out of friends that knew them or knew particularly Joachim Chamini and what he had lost in Cameroon, the son and business and so forth. And I watched the second interview. I followed that whole trend to the point where he said, on a Sunday, we only had a few days to declare a candidate because after that, something was going to happen. And he said, look, on that day, whether the big guys are there or not, Bela Buba and Joshua and Cabra, if they were there or not, but anyone who was in the room they're gonna elect a consensual candidate. And that consensual candidate was going to be declared at the Amadou Ahidjo Stadium, which again, the same SDO, I believe, that blocked Maurice Kamto last weekend, also canceled the stadium. And I have video of President Cheroma swearing in because the goal was for them, for the winner, it wasn't Cheroma, but the winner to swear in front of all Cameroonians that they are pledging to a unified platform, not necessarily their party's platform. That's why in our strategic meetings, I keep going back to that because Cheroma represents a unified platform, which in my opinion is not being spoken about enough because that's who he is. We keep just talking about him, and that's why I keep asking, who are the people that voted for him? Why they're not?
Absolutely.
Who are the people that voted for him in that room? But anyway, it is from there. Chiroma took oath in front of a camera because they couldn't go to the stadium. I still took the oath to pledge on that unified platform. My friends and people who know me are surprised that I know this much detail about this. But this is why I'm sitting here. And this morning, these two individuals are icons along with Cheroma. And they've murdered him and another one locked up in jail in our eyes again and maybe killed. And the people who have dedicated their life to free Cameroon. One was murdered today, and Cameroonians are sitting and asking questions. Why are Cameroonians not out? What else is going to make us? We're being too academic. The people that are succeeding in other countries, these are the kind of spontaneous things that happen that get people out. If Cameroonians are still sitting and talking,
About what?
can I believe in this? Can I believe in Cameroon? Cameroonians are just talking. Why should there be an organization? Why are we not on the streets? My God.
Chris, we feel, I feel your frustration. I feel the passion within. And here's what I say to us, you know, the same people, to your point, the same two people that showed up to vote, you proved to us that you were Cameroonians that could dream of something different. Yes, your vote was stolen, but you still have your will. It wasn't stolen. You must use that will tomorrow to say, no, we cannot just, this moment cannot be business as usual. So whether you are in Douala, you're in Yaoundé, whether you're in Yaoundé, you're in Longkak, you're in Chinga, in Briqueterie, you are in Bastos, you are in Mbala 2, wherever you are in Yaoundé, in Mendong, in Melen, in BMRC, you have to wake up tomorrow and take to the streets. That is the only thing.
These people have homes. They have homes. They have Atanganji is building a university somewhere. They have property. They have something. I mean, if they cannot get to Etudi, there are many ministers around. There are many people. The people, the governors. There are places where we can go express our anger.
And the military are not enough to guard all these places.
No.
Yeah, they are not.
Very important.
They are not enough to guard all these places.
Yes.
Gosh.
Cameroon, because it's like an illusion.
Michael, I think maybe people should understand what direct action is, because people, you know, I'll give two examples. The UK is a very sophisticated country. I can tell you now that even as we are making these discussions, they are listening, so they know everything that happens with us. They spy. The US does the same. But I'll tell you something, guys, something that I, as a Cameroonian, and I did this, you can verify, we did in 2016. Because when we started Black Lives Matter, they insulted us. They said we are noisemakers. We'd only talk and we do that, blah, 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 blah. So what happened in 2016 was that there were a lot of people dying in police custody and we needed to do something. And we realized we weren't many. And when you go out sometimes on the streets, they won't kill you in the UK, but they will make sure that it's just a good, nice protest you do and you go back home. So what we did on August 5th, 2016, we planted, we took just a few weeks. There were some things that we call arm tubes. We planted and we targeted 4 cities in the UK. 4, London, Birmingham, Nottingham, and Manchester. And what we did was we targeted a road that was very busy, that was going to lead to Heathrow Airport, the one that was leading to Birmingham Airport, the tram lines in Nottingham, and this. And what we did was simply lock those arm tubes into their hands and hook them, because of course here they won't kill us. You're not going to do that in Cameroon because they'll kill you. But think about it if you're a Cameroonian. Think about it when you ask Chiruma for action, you can do something. I'm just giving you an idea of what we did in a country very sophisticated, but we were able to shut it down. Now, what happened was that in Birmingham, we didn't have many people because there were a lot of activists who were not ready for action. We were just 7 of us. So what happened was that I was the one doing what they call arrestee observers, observing to make sure that the police doesn't abuse their powers. And there was another black girl, and there were whites. We are talking about Black Lives Matter. When you watch that video, you see there were white girls who were my friends, 2 of them sisters. They locked themselves, and then there were 2 Asians, and four of them, they blocked that road. We just waited. As soon as the car slowed down, we blocked that road. Within 30 minutes, there was traffic, and it blocked the whole of Birmingham Airport. It was happening the same time in London. It was happening the same time in Manchester. It was happening the same time in Nottingham. Now, that organization that they said was a fringe organization they were insulting, or suddenly every media was talking about Black Lives Matter. In 2020, when COVID started and we wanted to raise funds, the British public gave us £1.1 million within a few weeks. Now, that is the power of direct actions. Now, let me transport it to Cameroon. There is only one road from Douala to Yaoundé. If that road doesn't function, that country is kaput. What are you guys talking about? You need Chiroma to come and tell you what to do. The Northerners have shown you what they did in a few days. They stopped those camions coming to Yaoundé, and Yaoundé started starving. There is only one road, that road that goes from the Yaoundé to the east. You don't need to go to make it to the yes.
All the roads.
So basically, I am asking you now, listening to me, and asking what is the action. And then I will tell you something again that I did. I like to talk with actions, with examples. When I was a kid in 1992, when Nijon's elections were stolen, and we came out and they told us, I was in Dubden. They told us that we should come out. There was a guy called Yakubu. Those who grew up in Dubu know Yakubu. They called him Rambo. They told us I was 13. We carried tires. We blocked the roads, used stones, sticks, and everything. And I remember when the military cars were coming from a long distance, they were firing, using their strong to fire tear gases. By the time they will get very close, we have blocked it. We moved down the road. While they are removing that one, we are blocking the next one, far away where they cannot get us with they were not shooting bullets then. They were not as vile, but even with the tear gas, with the guns they were using, it couldn't reach us. So guess what? We were safe, but at the same time, we frustrated the military that was coming and going to Jakiri, because they were calling Jakiri back then Baghdad. These are things that we did. I did not know Nijon Fundi. There was no social media. There was no place for me to go and ask who is Nijon Fundi. I was a young man in Dub, and I just knew that I needed to do something to be able to change things in Dub. And I did. You can do something in your village, in your town. You can decide that tomorrow, last day of the lockdown, can be that you are not going to just sit at home. You are going to start by doing something. You organize yourself. 5, 10 of you can block the roads and frustrate everyone who thinks that it's okay to just move around and insult Cameroonians who keep dying every day at the hands of the regime. Those are actions you can take. Do something, and you will see that you have an impact, like those young people in the north who starved Yaoundé. When cows arrived Yaoundé after the 3-day ghost town, people are asking, what is the impact? When cows arrived, people celebrated. CRTV was announcing it as if they just discovered the sea road to India. That is because young people in the north decided that nothing will come to Yaoundé. Yaoundé produces nothing. If you block all the roads leading to Yaoundé, you shut down that system, they will not be able to even buy food. There will be no food. They will probably use a plane to go and buy food, like they use helicopters to buy onions from the north. Come on, guys. We cannot keep every day we are saying, oh, we want action. We want Chiroma to tell you. Want Chiroma to tell you that tomorrow is Tuesday. Massa.
There are a lot of things that they can do. If all of them just strategically look for a party. Say this is Douala, and he said it's a son of Douala. Look at the population. Just look for a strategic position. If all of you are afraid that they're gonna be shooting at you, just go, all of you, and sit down. Block some of the most. Say I would say the areas that cannot that cannot.
No, Kingsley just gave a formula here.
Yeah, just sit down, because you may be afraid that when you're walking, perhaps somebody is gonna shoot you or whatever. Get yourself together.
Michael, they don't need to go out during the day. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the night, you know the places where no one is there. Sorry, It's simple. I mean, I don't want to say all these things, but you know what? Let's be spelling it out. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. You don't need to wait for the military. You need to do that. See, if you need an engine saw to be able to cut the trees and block the roads, tell us and we'll buy you chainsaws. Let's stop this system. Guys, we can stop this system in 1 week. We don't have roads in Cameroon. What's hard? What is hard in Cameroon to stop Biya regime without one person dying? No one would die, but these guys would stop because Yaoundé will not get anything. Yaoundé produces nothing. Everything comes from Yaoundé, from Douala, from Bafoussam, from the north, from the east. And let me tell you what is also strategic about this, is that when you do that, you also stop the flow of fuel, because fuel doesn't pass through pipes. They pass through those roads. There will be no fuel. The system will shut down without you shutting yourself down. It's as simple as that. And Central Africa would start suffering. Chad, when the 3 days lockdown happened, Chad, one business in Chad lost 2 billion. 2 billion in 3 days. They were not happy with the regime because they felt they have an agreement and they couldn't execute that. These were done by a group of young people in the north. Chiroma did not ask them to do that. There's one video where it's a tanker, there's a camion driver who wanted to drive, and they told him, you would stay until the lockdown finishes at midnight. They kept him there. They didn't do anything to him. They didn't hurt him. They are not violent, but they stopped him from moving. You can stop. Yaoundé, Biya said that if Yaoundé breathes, the rest of the country is fine. Take away that oxygen from Yaoundé and see whether the Yaoundé will survive. Let's start Operation Blockade Yaoundé.
There are many things you can do. There are many things. Many things. They know the country very well. They know the
yes, Micah. They know the country very well. It is fear. It is fear. It is long-term intimidation that has happened for over 40 decades. I beg to say it's 20 years before that. But the worst of it is in the past 43 years. And because we chose not to take action, not persistent action, that's the difference. It's like we need to realize that there's no stop. It's to continue until something happens. You know, that's where we are right now. I mean, I'm still talking and I'm just shocked that how can they kill somebody? They have no apathy. They put his oxygen to him. And
we will spend.
They refused to give him the oxygen. They didn't have to give him medical care. They brought his oxygen. They refused to give him. So there's no empathy. They just killed him.
He didn't go to the road to protest.
He didn't
go to the road to protest. They killed him in the house. He didn't go to the road to protest. So what's the difference?
Oh my gosh.
And what did he do? What did this man do other than support what he believed in?
Man, that's incredible.
What did he do? What did these two guys and the others and the professor do? Because they're going to visit a party they support.
They don't have to do anything.
The guys,
they don't have to do anything.
Of the world in front of Cameroonians, and people are still sitting in their homes. We were planning on sitting home to keep peace, do this peaceful, and these guys turn around without any violent approach, killed a leader, killed a Cameroonian leader in broad daylight. So Cameroonians are supposed to just sit.
Chris, I really think of in the 60s, I think of the Omeo Bears, you know, it's like killing someone and dragging them out for people to see.
Yeah.
We are living in that time right now. You know,
yes.
Chairman, yes.
Yeah. Oui, et non seulement on vit ce moment-là, mais comme tu as dit, il y a toute une campagne d'intimidation qui a été inculquée et malheureusement, les personnes qui devaient parler ne sont pas en train de s'exprimer.
Oui.
On connaît l'Église catholique. L'Église catholique a les résultats de l'élection du 12 octobre. On a des évêques. Et maintenant, une des stratégies qu'ils ont, c'est d'inviter le pape. Tous les Camerounais devraient dire au pape, tu ne peux pas venir dans ce pays, le Cameroun, dans les conditions actuelles. On ne peut pas, dans les conditions actuelles, se mettre à inviter le pape. Et la mobilisation dont vous parlez devrait être faite aussi concernant les personnes d'autorité, les personnes qui peuvent s'exprimer. On a les églises. comme Michael disait, le Cameroun, c'est un pays extrêmement porté sur Dieu. On ne peut pas d'un côté être en train de dire que Dieu est celui qu'on aime, est celui qu'on choisit, et d'un autre côté être en train d'accepter ce genre de dérive sur l'humanité. Donc, le message que les Camerounais, au-delà de tout ce que vous avez dit, devraient faire, c'est de demander aux autorités morales, aux autorités ecclésiastiques, aux autorités spirituelles de sortir et de s'exprimer. On a quelques-uns qui s'expriment jusqu'ici, mais on n'en a que 1, 2, 3, 4 maximum. Tous les autres sont silencieux. Est-ce que l'Église au Cameroun est en train d'envoyer le message qu'elle est tellement phagocytée, qu'elle est totalement subordonnée au pouvoir politique, qu'elle n'arrive même plus à dire ce qu'elle sait, ses missions régaliennes? Ça, c'est un autre problème qu'il faudrait que les Camerounais adressent à leurs autorités. Il serait bien que tout ça se passe à Yaoundé. On a bien un archevêque métropolitain de Yaoundé. On a bien un nonce apostolique au Cameroun. On a bien des évêques partout. Mais il faudrait un moment que les Camerounais, au-delà de ce que vous avez décrit, puissent se tourner et dire, on paye nos dîmes. Vous vivez à cause de nous. Ce régime profite de nos taxes. Ce régime, il vit de ce que nous souffrons. Et si vous vivez, si l'Église peut subsister, c'est encore à cause des efforts que nous fournissons. Alors si à un moment, personne ne peut parler pour nous, c'est Michel qui parlait du Dieu d'Abraham, d'Isaac et de Jacob. Si à un moment, on ne peut pas invoquer les personnes qui se sont présentées comme des autorités morales, ce n'est pas Chiroma qui viendra dire à tous les Camerounais, à un moment, il faudrait appeler les autorités qui ont la parole, prendre position de façon claire sur ce qui se passe. Donc, ça, c'était en ce qui concerne la tentative de diversion. On a parlé de Samuel Eto'o qui a limogé. Ça ne nous intéresse pas. Ça n'intéresse pas les Camerounais pendant que Anicet Ekane a été assassiné. Ça n'intéresse pas les Camerounais. La deuxième chose, c'est que pendant qu'ils vont envoyer les communiqués dans les prochains jours pour dire que le pape arrive, je ne veux même pas savoir quand est-ce qu'il vient. Ça ne m'intéresse pas. Ou que pendant qu'ils seront en train d'essayer de passer à autre chose comme les élections législatives, il faudrait que tous les Camerounais leur disent que tout ce qui est arrivé à cause du 12 octobre. Et on n'a pas fini avec le 12 octobre parce que l'esprit de Anicet Ekane est encore là, parce que le sang de Anicet Ekane est encore en train de parler. On n'avait même pas fini encore avec les 50 personnes qu'ils avaient tuées. Donc, ce serait important pour tous les Camerounais, les 27 millions de Camerounais, de comprendre qu'ils ont le droit de dire non, le droit de revendiquer, le droit de se lever et le droit de s'exprimer.
Exactly. I really want us to examine, actions. How can we mobilize actions? I know we've already given a good suggestion. Chris, looks like you were.
Yeah, Ellie, I think, with all the emotions that
Yes.
involve,
Yeah.
the truth is, we have been sitting in this room as Cameroonians looking for the most peaceful way to mobilize Cameroonians in a sensible fashion that allows the government to listen to its people. And at each step, the government acts with impunity. This is one of the most barbaric government that exists in the world, with a 50-something year history of monopolizing all the institutions of the country, that the people are totally helpless. Because whether you sit in your home to cry, hoping that the government, who is like a father to you, and you to listen to you, they come after you. You go outside, they come after you. You sit inside, and now they're killing people in broad daylight. We have to really overcome these emotions and not react, and really mobilize the population to express themselves, because there's a lot of pain. The average Cameroonian excuse me, that I've spoken to is in a lot of pain that our country will refuse a human being oxygen. People are frustrated. Everyone that I've spoken to, even people that are not typically involved in these things, are shocked, embarrassed. I just hope the Cameroon government can just realize that they are acting as animals. And we know that's not who we are. There's got to be a better in 2025. You cannot keep harassing human beings. How do you sleep in your house? We saw Mr. Ekane's daughter, I believe, crying. Is Mr. Atanganji seeing this? Is Ngongo seeing this?
And they're Christians.
This? Is Motazi seeing this? Are all these people seeing it? And they call themselves leaders? I thought leaders are supposed to be servants to the people. We have animals as leaders. This is horrible. And I just pray and hope that they don't double down, but rather sit in those plushy offices when the masses are suffering and think of how to become more humane. They should release everybody that they hold because there's nothing they've done wrong but express themselves. And Cameroonians need to come out and be able to express themselves. Hopefully, they'll understand the pain of the country and just allow people to peacefully express their frustration, because this is horrible. I've never felt pain like I felt this morning for leaders I don't even know personally, but just people that we've looked up to, that have shared with us about the beauty of our country, the resources of our country, how every Cameroonian should be living good, and how we can do better as a country. If Cameroonians don't have a chance to express themselves, it's going to be a horrible situation. And we have to figure out a way for our country to express, because this is painful, very painful.
Chris, I just want to say that I believe that this is so sad and this is so grim. You cannot, you're right, you cannot avoid it. We have to sit as a people and reflect, because he was a reflection of who we are.
Yes.
He was a reflection of humanity. He was a reflection of compassion. He was a reflection of what you want to be, and if you're going on the religious side, he was a reflection of the characters that Jesus, the church that Atanganji goes to. This is, and so I believe that this level of inhumane behavior is an example that the system has cracked. These are things that is important that we let the government and whoever they're sending to watch this to understand that we know we're not coming from a place of fear. We're not coming from a place of, just sitting back. We're coming from a place of resilience. And we know, because in this time, in this age, for them to do what they're doing is because they're crumbling. Let's make that clear. They're crumbling. It's a desperate act. It's a desperate move. And they are not going to get the Cameroonian people to relent. This is important. So,
I would say, when Kingsley spoke a little bit about Anicet Ekane, It's really important for us to go down memory lane. This is a man who has given everything about his life to Cameroon, joining the UPC, starting out the UPC. Many people don't know, Manidem is an incarnation of the UPC that was created in the 90s. This is not the first time Anicet Ekane is being part of the Union for Change. He was part of the Union for Change for when John Frundi was the consensual candidate in 1992. Anicet Ekane, Jacob Chebeni were part of La Coalition, as they called it in those days, that led to lock down Douala for 6 months. Through ghost towns that led to the tripartite talks that led to the constitution that we have in Cameroon. This man has been in jail as part of the UPC. He has been in jail as part of La Coordination. He has never stopped fighting for Cameroon. And the Manidem party is the one political party that has changed its president repeatedly, as opposed to all other political parties that have one president for life in Cameroon. This Manidem has been that one party that had this concept of not a centralized leader in the party, but creating the opportunities for several people to determine what the destiny of the party is, which is unique in the context of Cameroon. So this man has given most of his adult life from joining in a fight with UPC, being detained under the Ahidjo government as part of the UPC, and ending his life under the Biya regime because he found a consensus candidate that the people of Cameroon selected. He has been assassinated for his love of country. An ordinary man with 2 legs and 2 hands like all of us, whose love of country was never compromised by his search for selfish wealth, because too often he could have bought into the many opportunities that came his way for him to be bought over by the government, which he refused and put country first. Today, nobody should be thinking about a Cameroon that is normal, because this is not normal. This is not what happens in normal countries. That the most countries in the world, I mean, you have to get to the proportions of Putin in Russia, or Saddam Hussein, or the gentleman who was just kicked out in Syria. The people who
Al-Assad.
eliminate people in their countries who have contrary political opinions to them. And we thought that we had started democracy 30 years ago and embraced multipartism, and that we were moving forward. But now there is absolutely no opposition in Cameroon. That's what it has become. So with that in mind, there is no need for us to think about political parties. We have to see ourselves as Cameroonians and be united today in the spirit of ensuring that tomorrow we never see this again. So today we have shared thoughts on what you can do in Cameroon, on the ground in Cameroon. You have to make it so unbearable, ungovernable, that this regime, the only negotiation that needs to take place in Cameroon now is when Paul Biya leaves. And that is the only way we can protect you. The only way that you can protect next generations is the only way that you can have your dignity to express yourself freely and make your choices, without which we are living in a prison of 28 million prisoners. And that's exactly what it is, because you are not free in Cameroon. I don't care how wealthy you are. I don't care what fence you are living behind. Go down on paved streets, you still see beggars in the street. You still have children dying of malaria. All of those things. All of those things. Today is just a moment, a snapshot for us to think about it and say, no, this cannot be normal. This is not the country that we want. This is not an expression of the Cameroon that we deserve.
I will
And
talk about two things, please. The fact that, there's this illusion that somebody's going to come save us. And there's nobody coming to save us. The people of Cameroon have to rise up. We have to develop the muscle to rise up. If we love our children, what is the future for them? What are the future of people who are graduating, young 21-year-old? What is their future to be married and have children? What is that about? If 43 years, and this 7 years, as we know, is not 7 years. It could take us into another 40 years.
yes, if we do not.
Yeah, I think we need to also be engaging with some of the comments. I think there's one here that we need to address because it's a recurrent issue. The regime uses that a lot to sound like, the diaspora are people who've got something to gain. I want us to be very, very direct. Let's be as plain as possible. I mean, Ari, when was the last time you were in Cameroon?
I was in Cameroon in on January of 2024.
Good. Do you actually need to be in Cameroon to survive? I mean,
no,
good.
Absolutely.
Elizabeth, when was the last time you were in Cameroon? Like, you went there to stay? Because I'm addressing this because of someone in the comment section. He's saying we are doing this because we've got gains. Because people think that maybe we don't. Yeah, I want to understand.
Let me just say this. Let me be very, very clear about this. I run a huge risk for what I'm doing. I could go to Cameroon today. I want to be clear. I would live a better life than I do in America. I want to be clear. It serves me. I have no plans to go to Cameroon. What I am doing will actually make it more difficult for me. So I'm not thinking, when I hear the rape sacrifices, let me just say this, Kingsley. I was telling someone as Cameroonian, let's just be real. Let's be real. We have outrun our time to make ignorant statements. The talk about Cameroon is not some entertainment, eating fufu and jama in somebody's house at midnight party. It is over. We can no longer afford ignorant statements. They become stupid, but not just that, they're harmful. This harmfulness of just sitting and talking and increasing ignorance is why we are where we are. It's why Atangaji can own properties here and have somebody who is managing his properties and he's bribing and paying. Come on, people. So we could live, some people here could go to Cameroon. People warned you of how you could be losing property on some valuable things. It is, those statements are not insulting to me personally. They're insulting and sad for the level of ignorance of
most of those statements are used by the regime because for a long time they divided the diaspora. They made it look like the diaspora was just some external bodies. We are not Cameroonians. Let me tell you now something. I can cite to
say this why we're so angry. We're angry because Cameroonian people, listen to me. We are one. My two boys, I went to school in Manfe Okoyo. My two boys, I'm telling you, they're exactly the same. Only difference is geography. We are the same. So I know that's most of us, how can we sleep knowing what's going on in Cameroon? Knowing that there are lots of people in Manfe where I went, Kumba, and people who would never. So how can you live well and be happy if other people are suffering? It's not human. It's not human. That is outrageous. And maybe it's difficult for some people to get that, but that is a problem.
Yeah, just to address Tambe Baye. Let me just tell you now, you're very correct. We went to work, we came back, Do you know it's almost midnight where I am? Ask yourself, why should I not be sleeping? You want me to show you the amount of drinks that I have behind me that I could be drinking and sleeping? Why should I not be sleeping? Why do I have to worry? It's people like you. If you're actually in Cameroon, it's people like you who benefit from the system. I hope that he's using his real name. His neighbors look at his name and remember, he is one of the reasons why you suffer. And let me give you some statistics. This week alone, we woke up, was it Saturday or Sunday? 6 people died in an accident between, I think, Douala and Yaoundé. The next morning, 2 more died. That was 8. 2 gendarmes were killed in Bamenda. I'm talking about violent deaths in Cameroon. We did not kill those people. We did not ask for them to be killed. Then, do you know that in Cameroon, an average of 16,000 accidents occur every year? Most of those are fatal. Do you know that? Let me now tell you where I live. If I come out here and I take my Range Rover there and I drive, I can drive for 100 miles an hour from here to London and I will not meet an accident and I will not get an accident. Do you know why? They are good roads. So when you think that the problem is the drivers, the problem is the roads. Because in Germany, there's no speed limit, but there are no accidents. So let me tell you now that Cameroonian roads kill more than war kills in most countries. Cameroonians die in hospitals. A lot of people I know have gone for surgery in Cameroon and died because there was a mistake during the surgery. People are given wrong injections in Cameroon. Monique,
drugs abuse in Cameroon.
And they died in front of La Cantine, one of the biggest hospitals in Cameroon. I know a woman who had triplets and they died in Bamenda because she is a midwife, and she asked with her professional experience that she wanted a surgery and they refused, and the sacs broke and her 3 babies died. This I can tell you only within the last 2 weeks that we have lost more than 50 Cameroonians to violence. I'm not talking about the ones that the state killed. So if you sit in your stupid, dirty corner, eating from blood money and think that everyone is like you, that will sit quiet while Cameroonians are slaughtered because, or if people talk, is because they have got something to benefit. Think again. Go and get your head examined. We have nothing to benefit. I can keep quiet, not talk about Cameroon, and it will cost me nothing because I have no interest there. If things change now, it's for the people in Cameroon. It's not for me. I'm not coming back there. My kids are British. Let me just be clear. No, it's good to address this thing. That's why I asked you when you were last there. You can survive without Cameroon, but we speak because we have woken up and we've got a conscience. We are doing what the churches should have been doing, what the imams should have been doing. When we started DISO, a lot of Cameroonians who came onto the DISO project, they asked us initially, "Oh, how are you going to pay us?" And we told them something. Who will pay us? Who was paying Michelle? Who was paying Kingsley? Who was paying? And then they suddenly realized, guess what? 9,000 Cameroonians stood up and got these elections card. They got the results, which the regime is afraid today to show theirs. Those are Cameroonians. And then were never paid a dime because they understood suddenly that we were doing it and we didn't expect to be paid because we were doing it for free because we just loved the country. Get that into your blockhead today. I'm addressing you and using you to get to other people because Elizabeth already gave me the freedom. She knows that I can insult. She said, Kingsley, you can actually you have the right to be angry just today and actually really get out, lash out because of what has happened to Ekane. We have a system in Cameroon where they make it look like the diaspora is this. I mean, do you know how? I mean, let me ask: how many people know how Africa got independence? It is the Jamaicans, the African Americans and the Jamaicans, Bob Marley, Marcus Garvey, and these guys who liberated the continent. You need the diaspora to liberate every system that is held hostage. Whether you like it or not, that is what happens in history. When apartheid was happening in South Africa, when Nelson Mandela had gone to prison, but Oliver Tambo was not in London in exile, South Africa would never have been liberated. Yeah. Don't think that it was because Mandela was in prison. It's because he was there, but he had people like Oliver Tambo, the leader of the ANC, in the diaspora. You need the diaspora to speak up, but then it's not everyone in the diaspora. We have got 7 million Cameroonians abroad. They don't
Absolutely.
talk.
They don't care. Some of them don't even care.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do with them? You know, whether you Tambebai or whoever you're called, I think this is disgusting, right?
Yeah.
It's disgusting. We are not here to please you. We know, and people like us, we know that we've heard this before. And I'm sure you're a government recruit. If you are eating or feeding from the blood money that the government is sourcing and giving some of you guys to come and be talking nonsense, I think it's wrong. It's a shame to you. It's a shame to you and anybody who knows you. It's a shame. We're not making money. You are there tweeting because you are sending messages because you're making money from the government or whatever. Even if you're doing so by your own accord, I think you are disgusting.
Yeah, I want to say that let's not be distracted. Let's not be distracted by this people. We're here because something catastrophic has happened to our country. Catastrophic. All of us, you know, you can define wherever you can go live on planet Venus. But if you're born a Cameroonian, if you have any iota of Cameroonian blood in you, today must be a day that is shameful for our country, that we must not forget, that we must use this moment as a turning point in the history of our country, that this day should never be forgotten. And how we do this is what happens tomorrow. That tomorrow the people of Cameroon must decide whether it's 1 p.m. or 4 a.m. or what time of the day, but they must decide to take action in a way that the world will know that the Cameroonian people stood up as one to condemn this action. And they have to do it tomorrow. Wherever you are, whatever street you live on, whatever city you are in, if you can find to play a part in blocking Cameroon, shutting Cameroon down tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after, that is what people must be thinking now, because you are doing it as legitimate defense, legitimate response to the assassination of a leader a political leader in our country. It demands action. It demands your responsibility. It demands everyone everywhere to say no to this kind of savagery that we have experienced from our regime today. And they have the ability, the audacity to choke a human being to death, to assassinate somebody in this manner. And for us to treat this, to accept this as something that's going to be normal, is the greatest fear that I have for tomorrow. So we have explored ways and means in which you can make your voices heard tomorrow. The destiny of our country now lies in their hands, in the hands of every 20-year-old that is hoping for a future, for a prosperous future in Cameroon. To all the young people who now have the tools to be able to mobilize, leveraging social media that's in your hands, that you can easily communicate with your network of friends, mobilize in whatever city you are in. That's what you must be doing tomorrow, unless you are happy with the status quo. And I dare say that you all showed on October 12th that the status quo is unacceptable. And if it is, get on your phones now, talk to your WhatsApp group of friends, mobilize so that tomorrow at 1 p.m. you are showing the world that this is not what we are as a country. This is not the kind of Cameroon that we want. And yes, if Yaoundé is the target, I am calling on people in Yaoundé to do what you can to step up tomorrow. This is a regime that is weak. It's fragile, it's divided, it's dying. We just need to push them out. But we cannot do this if you do not take a step out. This is what we did, brothers, young people did in the 90s for us to get multipartism. This is what we did for us to get multiple universities in Cameroon. We have to be able to you have to risk it. Qui ne perd rien ne gagne rien. That's what they say. You have to demand the sacrifice. You're not begging for this. This is your.
Are they, if we talk and small for French, so because I know say people they are the same people they say they 1 year for French. We talk our French so that all man fit is yes.
No,
I beg, that's fine talk.
Non, ce que je suis en train de dire est que demain ne peut pas être normal. On ne peut pas accepter cette savagerie qu'on a vécue aujourd'hui. Que dans un pays comme la nôtre, quelqu'un qui a l'expression politique différente est devenu l'ennemi de l'État. Pourtant, nous vivons dans une démocratie. Une démocratie qui doit nous permettre, chacun de nous, à avoir nos différentes opinions. Et c'est cette diversité qui doit faire en sorte qu'on a un pays fort. Malheureusement, ce n'est pas le cas. On est ici aujourd'hui. Anicet Ekane n'est pas en vie seulement parce qu'il a eu une opinion différente. Et que le président Biya, seul le président Biya, est responsable de tout ce qui se passe. Qu'il a le sang d'Anicet Ekane sur ses mains. C'est à cause du fait qu'il a perdu les élections que la vie de M. Ekane, ils ont mis fin à la vie de M. Ekane. Ils ont assassiné M. Ekane. Qu'il y a 40 autres jeunes qui ont été tués parce que Biya a perdu les élections, parce que les Camerounais ont dit qu'on ne veut plus de M. Biya. C'est pour cette raison qu'on est en train de vécu tous ces assassinats, toutes ces personnes qui sont enfermées dans le géant de Cameroun, les enfants qui sont à Newbell, à PK14, à Kondengi, la vie détruite par le fait que Biya avait insisté à rester au pouvoir avec sa bande, et je vais utiliser le terme de Atanganji, les bandits des grands chemins. C'est à cause d'eux que vous êtes en train de souffrir, qu'on est en train de vécu les assassinats des gens, les arrestations. Mais demain, vous, les Camerounais, vous devez faire quelque chose. Accepter cela comme normal n'est pas acceptable. Donc demain, vous, les jeunes, il faut donner quelque chose pour avoir quelque chose. Qui ne perd rien, ne gagne rien. Donc il faut donner quelque chose pour gagner quelque chose. Et n'ayez pas peur. Parce que vous avez la raison. La loi est avec vous. La nature est avec vous. Vous avez la raison de descendre sur la rue et exprimer votre colère, parce que c'est ça, votre colère avec ce qui s'est passé aujourd'hui. Une journée qu'on ne doit pas accepter jamais cela dans notre pays. Je pense que j'ai utilisé tous les termes francophones, un terme en français que je connais. Mais cette crime d'État ne doit pas aller sans punition.
Eli, if I may just say one thing, then
Pancho is here.
Oh.
Yes. So I saw CY's message in the comments, so I just sent him the link.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So you can see
everybody.
If you want to join, you can also join.
I think was Chris going to say something? Then we can just share. Yeah, because just Chris.
I think Aray said it well, that let's not be distracted by the comments that came earlier. This is a conversation that has been going on in Cameroon. Many African countries are now working with their diaspora indiscriminately. at all levels, both from um, having civil disagreement of ideas to improve the country, and Cameroon has a selective approach, towards the diaspora. But the one thing that I think is happening today more and more is that Cameroonians are becoming more and more united with the diaspora and those on the ground. A majority of Cameroonians, I believe, right now have come to understand the role that we play and should play, because we cannot play the role that they need to play, and they cannot play the role that we can play.
Good.
So and I think if our government understood that, things would be much better in some sense, because there's power to both. So Cameroonians, especially on the ground, should understand that we feel the pain from a different angle. Cameroon is always our country. I'm a proud Cameroonian. We've struggled in America. We have a better life, but it's not been easy. And we will always think about where we come from. This is about love. I don't think any Cameroonian at home should sit and be talking about, oh, they're out there talking because their children are not there and so forth. That's actually a defeatist attitude, a defeatist word. Because the dialogue should be, hey, here's what we need from you so that we can be able to do X. And we are doing our best to think about what we can do to help. We need to get away from that language as a country. It just doesn't have a place. It's too old. It's an easy conversation, right? We spend time instead of capitalizing on the synergies of where we are. Cameroonians on the ground, even in real life, have a better advantages over us here. And we here have advantages over them. So it should be how we blend those advantages to maximize whether it's economic for the government as a whole, or whether it's political, or whether it's civil society trying to come together. But I believe that those that are making those statements are fewer and fewer and fewer, because the conversations taking place between the diaspora and Cameroonians in the ground are so wonderful. And the same thing is true, the conversation between Cameroonians of all sides. The pride of Cameroon is our diversity. Diversity of thought, diversity of ethnicity, diversity of language, diversity of religion. That is the power. It's always said, even here in corporate America, that if you put two teams, one diversity team and a non-diverse team, the diverse team is always outperform the non-diverse team. And Cameroon should stop throwing away its power, because a Cameroonian that can wake up and speak French and sleep speaking English, can wake up and speak Pidgin English and wake up and whatever. The diversity of our music, the diversity of our culture, the diversity of everything is our power. And let's not allow anybody to use that to play against us. We are in serious business right now, and we need to focus on the power. For a long time, there's been division about Anglophone, Francophone. It's not happening. The room that we are sitting in, we are united. Christians, Muslims, Anglophone, Francophone, we speak in whatever language we want to speak. Sometimes I'm sitting with a dictionary in front of me or something to translate, and I'm still happy. And that's what we've been seeing, because we have a bigger fish to fry than all of that. Lastly, for all Cameroonians, especially in the diaspora or even in Cameroon, the language of they need to do X. Any Cameroonian using that language should be embarrassed. Who are they?
Mhm.
Who are they?
Yeah.
Is it President Anicet Ekane? No. Is it Mr. Ekane? No. Who is it? It's you. It's me. And what I can do is not the same thing you can do. And what you can do is not the same thing I can do. Whether you are donating $5 to someone that has been shot and needs treatment or whatever. So this language power is what we've been brainwashed with for a long time. And it needs to change and change very quickly, because we will not go anywhere when we leave that kind of language in 2025 to still exist. So my conclusion is that any Cameroonian, we should adjust our language.
Absolutely.
Not they, not them, not Francophone, not Anglophone, because it is us. And lastly, this point has been made over and over. Nobody is going to help us but us. And the only power we have is our unity.
Absolutely.
And the unity is not only against this current government, because it's against any government. The anger here is that this government have overstayed its power, and the people don't appear to be their priority. And that's why this is happening.
Mhm.
A government may come in tomorrow and still turns to be a tyrant. But Cameroonians by then would have been united.
Yep.
And so what we're doing here, Cameroonians are non-violent people. We don't like bloodshed. We don't know it. We're seeing it. And the people teaching us bloodshed is our government.
The government.
Which is, they've taken advantage of the civility of Cameroonians, the calmness of Cameroonians, the joy of Cameroonians in different aspects, to now become super bullies where the live bullets are used on people. So I just want to ask that Cameroonians, we Cameroonians, need to change our language and focus on unity and focus on what we can bring to the table. It can be talent, it can be whatever. And this talent, while it's focused on this current regime, is not only that. It's about our maturity as a people, never to let any regime, it could be the Chiroma regime tomorrow, that comes in and starts to go into a different direction. And we as Cameroonian, the sovereign people, will quickly rise
And bring them back to order.
That's right. Thank you.
And not wait for another 43 years.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
Good evening.
So much, Chris.
See what? Thanks, Chris. Yeah. Go ahead.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, guys.
Good evening,
Good evening, Auntie Elise. Oh, what's up? How far? Good evening.
You are Pancho.
Yes. This is the 12th lion. Younger Dross. You see, I'm so first of all happy to be here with you guys to talk something, and I am super happy for everything you people are doing. You see, the time has come in this particular nation, Cameroon, that we all have to acknowledge the fact that Cameroon is bad and the government
has becoming chronic in their evil. We should accept that. There is no different language to give to that. Any person who sits and tell you, no, Cameroon, if they find this, that person is just being very wicked. You see, I really love what this brother Chris was saying about language. Today I had an argument with one brother in a group and he ran away. He ran away. This issue of French people, English people, Francophone, Anglophone, it is a very chronic ideology to discourage the people, to draw the people back. There is nothing like Francophone versus Anglophone. That brother made a statement in that group. He said, Francophone people, they are looking Anglophones like what he was saying, like people are not existing, marginalization. I asked him a very simple question. Very simple. I asked him, do you know the road between the road from Kumba to Mbonge to Ekondo Titi? You know the road? He says yes. You know the condition of that road, how devastating it is? He says yes. Now, Prime Minister Dion Gute, where is he coming from? From Ekondo Titi. Do you expect a Francophone man to come and influence the construction of that road, or Dion Gute? He sat quiet. He could not say anything. I came back to Boya. I said, do you know Senator Mbela Mokichas? Say yes. Have you ever gone around his area, Bokwango? Say yes. Do you realize, have you ever taken note that the road from Mutengene to Mbela Mokichas Senator's town, Boya, and village, Bokwango, is a devastating, scattered road with smell everywhere? The man said yes. So are you expecting a Francophone to come and initiate the construction of that road? No. Number two, do you know former Prime Minister Mafani Mosonge? Say yes. Do you know his village, Bokwai? Said, do you know that there is absolutely no existence of any road? Say yes. Do you expect a Francophone to come and influence the construction of that road? Do you know Atanganji Paul? Say yes. Who is Atanganji Paul? Is an Anglophone. Is it not one of the most chronic tormentors in Cameroon? Say yes. Is Atanganji Paul a Francophone or an Anglophone? He sat quiet. So I tell him, brother, the people tormenting Anglophones are Anglophones. The ones tormenting Francophones are Francophones. It is high time for us all to come together and tell these people enough is enough. We don't want to see our children fatherless, our fathers widowers, our mothers widows, and our youth hopeless. It has been happening and happening and happening. And I want to tell you people, Cameroon government is exceedingly wicked. They are exceedingly wicked. And one thing the people don't understand is that they too, they are suffering inside their wickedness. Ignorantly, they don't know. They think that they are enjoying life more than the common people. But I tell you today, it's a lie. You know, their wickedness has even blinded them to see that they too, they are suffering. They are suffering. Sister Elizabeth, can you imagine? Is it normal that somebody constructs a house worth 500 million francs CFA and there is no road linking to that house? Does that make sense? Are you living life? Can you tell somebody that you are living life? You remove 500 million, you construct a house, beautiful house, but there is no road linking to that house.
And you the fear for stay there because all man around you poor. So
No,
you the fear the all man a tip man.
You fear say all man a tip man, and then around that house, it be surrounded by mosquito. People the way they don't get money, they go stand for line for buy mosquito, malaria medicine for 1,000. You too, you can pack to buy malaria medicine for 1,000. No, you did suffer and suffer.
Buy Moon Tiger.
Buy Moon Tiger. You did suffer and suffer. When they cut internet, you too, you no get internet. It makes sense for say you go construct house for 500 million, but you not be able to get stable electricity for the house.
No water.
You not be able to get stable water for the house. You not be able to get stable internet for that house. You are suffering. You let me say, I don't know as a pick up. Let me say you be rich man inside poverty. It's a slave mentality. It's a very dangerous thing that is happening to us. Now, just imagine. See, Cameroon government, they be exceedingly wicked for that level where they not even fit understand say a simple economic stock say for a country to be stable economically now for provide a good road network, stable electricity, and good internet service. Why? Because the whole world today it be digitalized. No, if you don't have stable internet and electricity, then you are not ready to develop. But you see, Cameroon government, they be wicked for that level where they don't understand. Say, for example, if you be delivery person, that means say every day you did drive motor carry kako go deliver them for Limbe. When you go deliver for Limbe, they give you 5,000. You come back for Boya. Carry so one, go deliver them for Kumba. They give you 5,000. If there is a big and wide super road network, internet service, and light, possibilities they say you feel work 50,000 for one day. Because I want to tell you people something. Cameroonians are super hardworking, and there is a lot of money in Cameroon.
Yeah,
there is a lot of money. There's a lot of money for that level where if Cameroon government, if you provide Cameroonians only with good road network, stable electricity, and internet, we not going to even put ISEP for their tip for the tip money.
see,
For this
like
type of
we
government purpose.
actually leave they stay for day as long. That's why I say that. See, right, just to support it, they guide them. I don't know what I say. They so wicked, like they're wicked to them, even to themselves. Yeah,
to themselves. You see, they know they even think because it come to a level where people they don't even think say that intellectuals the way they fit control country well. Now instead we will not go to school, they instead teach them because you go realize say if there's a good road network, if you work 50,000 for one day, in economy go the boom. But with the present condition, you woke up one morning, enter moto, only before you want go reach Limbe for go deliver one parcel and come back, the day already end. You don't end up work 5,000. And even if you go reach Limbe as fast as you don't go reach, you feel one land, light don't go off. You get to wait, light come before they enter the program where you want program. And even light off, maybe light figure comes so bam, internet don't cut off. Before you want to know, the whole day don't finish. That is how bad the situation is in Cameroon. And there is no way we can pretend that it is well. My sister, let me be very honest. How on earth? Okay. Yeah. When you buy moto, you go buy moto like Kami Toyota because it is so devilish for Cameroon. Civil servants, they be richer than business people. Civil servants, they drive the most expensive cars than business people. It is only in Cameroon, in this wide world, that I've ever seen. The most beautiful, luxurious homes that civil servants they get them, not be business people. Now, you go buy Kami Toyota for Kami, 100 million, 200 million. They give you guarantee, say, you go drive the motor, can do servicing. Now, after 1 year, you take that money, buy that motor, 100 million or 200 million. As you kick from Yaoundé to Boya, you come back, you go do servicing, spend 100 million, spend 1 million. As you come out, go this side, come back, you do servicing, spend 1 million. Before 1 year, one reach, for go do this, the original servicing where Kami Toyota don't give you, you don't already spend 10 to 20 million. Add to that 200 million. Where For road where you be fit, go for that 200 million, you move even 50, fix that road, begin work for the free, save the rest of that money. Are you not seeing that the people themselves, they are living in their own slavery? It is madness. How country where una go take billions, go construct modern toll gate for a roadway, even bike, it takes difficulties for pass for day. Is that not mad? No be disease for people their brain. And then you go tell me, say all is well. And now let me tell you guys something. They get some unique technique where they don't use them, they don't successfully use them for brainwash and torture Cameroonian their psychology. You know, now this disease of discouragement. Now where Archbishop Michael Bibi use them last. I be do a write-up. I tell you, say, sir, come on. It is high time we have to be looking you people in the face, because you people are completely go out of the gift that God gave you people. My brother, this example is very simple. If you be papa for some house, you dey house with your woman, with your picking them, and then you hear knock for outside, boom, 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 and then your big boy picking woke up, he won't go look up, you can't tap you for soldier, for shoulder. You say, what's how you go? If me lay your papa, I never woke up, go look, and then now you my picking one go look am. You know what you don't do? You don't just say that picking is psychology, immoral. You don't finish it. They call and say KO. Because if papa fit fear, what's that picking? Even the picking be get courage times 10, you know go fit go. They don't use that strategy, discouragement. They use verbal violence, attacks and threats for destroy people, their psychology. Now when you see Archbishop Michael Bibi use and we go talk say, if some government don't stay for power, so tell the people then say make it go, and they no go. Now we bishop we go can't talk say me they go already. You don't already
I see that thing today. I see that thing today. I just thought me no make a move turn for his skin because I evict me fine.
You see, already, you don't already make the people that meet they understand, say, if you, their leader, where they count on you, fit give up for this thing. It means that them, they don't get where to go. Yeah. It is that unique, that is the unique strategy to destroy the people. Now, what I talk say, Archbishop Michael Bibi, now part of them. It is a it's a consistent strategy they are using, discouragement. Now when you see Jean de Diemumu, minister began talk say, oh, 7 years no far away when I just leave him. It's a discouragement. Discouragement is a very dangerous device to destroy the psychology of people not to achieve their success. Discouragement, now very bad thing. Now we'll get for preach and for Cameroonian then their brain, because okay, you all wanna know me. No be today. Are they for inside this campaign for 80-20 for our culture, and the one for drugs, fight against drugs and all those things. See, if I did not get that knowledge, not to fall, not to succumb to discouragement, I'm telling you true, I don't give up the thing since. Because you go here, they will come for comment section. Bro, we fear for you, your life, oh, the one of your children. The one I only tell them, say, listen to me. There is one thing I know. Many people, they talk say John the Baptist be die because he be denounced king, he atrocity them for his face. But I say it's a lie. John the Baptist did not die because he denounced the king. John the Baptist died because he feared, he doubted the authority where he be there under. The man who is sending, he doubt the man, now why he be die. So me see why I know the doubt person where he send me when I God Almighty.
Preach, brother.
I know the doubt am. And you people, they come, they say, no, you be politician, you be comedian. What you do for politics? This is another unique and dangerous weapon, device where they don't use it for destroy the people. Say they don't make the people for believe, say you must be a politician before you air out your views about things the way they happen for this nation. Can you imagine even pastors, they will come and say that? That is why I love Apostle John G with all my heart, because if he talk, ho-ha. Listen, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, he be denounced the atrocity of a land and he stand with his people. Jesus be being a politician? No. John the Baptist be denounced king. Paul, all of them, they be denounced the atrocities of the land. Were they politician? No. They will be politician. So why you, a fellow citizen, you go fear for talk say, oh, you don't clear on top my foot the hot, come off or down, because they don't can't discourage you, say, oh, your family, you're this, or you're this. So this is the time. I want big Cameroonians them. I know say they go cut this video, they go put them for outside because me, that's what my life day. They go always one at the one way they know say they fit use and may they attack me as they don't use them for more than 12 years today. I don't care. This is the time. I talk now for my French brothers and sisters. I am very intentional about this. I'm very intentional about this. It is the time for you all to take the advantage of this Anicet Ekane and denounce this people and this character. It is the time. There is no time again because this is bad. It is the time to take advantage of this Anicet because it makes no one eye sense. For no place for this world where they feel give still a way to where the people they can't do propaganda now. You hear Rene Sandy, minister, talk say, oh, Anicet be a friend. If be a friend, that way they catch you and you know say no do no nothing. What do you do? You not do no nothing. What do you talk? You not talk no nothing. You see Jean de Jade Mumu, it don't cast. You see how wicked these people they are. Say, my fellow comrades to fight for democracy. He was my friend. You guys. Let me say they don't just take Cameroonians as a lesson chicken them where they feature play over their mentality. Anyhow, this is bad. It is bad, and there is no true name to give to it. It is really, really bad. And it feels so sad. Please, just 2 minutes before I end, I run up my own discussion. And it feels so sad, say, me see why we I come out for a very poor background with my papa no be get 25. I enter street for 1993, start fight for my life. Then I don't come with wisdom and hard working. I be able to give my picking them a proper education because I'm giving my children a proper education. Make them learn and they educate my picking and say, study. When you study, you are going to have job. There is no way you will study and you will not have job. But deep inside me, I know say my picking will study, become an expert, and then come. Just imagine say my picking an expert. That means say na cyber engineer. But he come now for can get work. Na panabita the controlling. Panabita garage man na the controlling. Or my picking go study for a whole life, then come back for the place where he get for get work. They ask you say go me to your papa, may give 10 million, may give 5 million. It is so sad. That is why I'm standing with my full chest so that things should better. If my picking then they want reach for that level tomorrow for start finding work, they no go suffer. And it is you and I. And so people then, this language for say, oh, you don't go for this side. You know, any man when you know me, no be today I start talk. Now 12 years where they talk what day for Cameroon 24/7. And maybe some of you think that we are talking because maybe we don't have anything to lose. No, I'm one of the Cameroonians the way they lost everything because of this crisis. Because people who know me, I was well established. They burned my tractor, they burned my farm, destroyed my farm. I lost snack bar, lost everything for that country. But I still did it. We're well established. Are you understanding me? So now some vex where it there for inside our heart. And I want me you know something, please. This is the last statement. You should understand. When you fight this thing, people the way they can't fight you back. No overboard about them. If you fit defend something, defend them, but not overboard because one, be less assured say they get for defend themselves. Of course. When you fight battle, if you say that man go just shit on me, you just box the chairs. No, when I be here to Jean de Mumu be talking. Say, hey, when I get for no say if these people they move with for here, we go suffer. So they know very well say if they come out today, it go worry for them. So they get for do everything. That is the reason why they feel go up to the extent for finish your life only for defense me they no shake. So it is time we got to look. As I'm telling you, that they plenty when I sit there, remember the way the situation they twist them, but it don't become now like a court. It they like some big demon. The way it don't put your hands up for all of them where they no fish shake. But I want to pray today that the God of heaven and earth will breed them every blessed day. 2026 no go pass away, something no happen for that country. It is too much. Thank you.
Eric, we talked yesterday, say we will set ourselves a personal program, say we'll go welcome Issa Chiroma back for Cameroon by 11th of February. That's 42 days from now. And I think say it be achievable, and if it say that 11th of February it be unique, it get a historic significance. So I think if Cameroonians they want time for liberate themselves, and for actually all the street wisdom we see why I don't just tell we now. I mean, it just the talk and stuff. I just see now just a lot of opportunities. You see, and I think that if we want time to do them, then we need to set ourselves a timeline.
Yeah. But now we have a trigger. Now we have a trigger. See why as you talk. Now so this is not the one moment where every Cameroonian get to say this thing no will happen again. You know, this enough is enough. We have to not allow this happen. Let me talk to people in the diaspora. If you are in the diaspora, we need to support the people on the ground in Cameroon. This diaspora, we put in $400 million into the Cameroonian economy every year.
Yes.
So we are stakeholders in that economy.
Yes.
But if we can mobilize our resources, we have 42 days, as I said. If we were just putting aside $1 a day, $42, 1 million of us would be $400 million. We can mobilize the resources that we would sustain our brothers in the push into Yaoundé. We need to invest our time and our resources to support those on the ground in Cameroon. That for the next 30 days, we have to sustain demonstrations in Cameroon. We have to give people, we have to provide the bread and sardines for our brothers and sisters to stay out on the streets. So we need to mobilize the resources now, establish the network on the ground that will support these people. We work with the Ben Sikin people, the core boxers, all of those people on the ground. We have to support them to fight for their freedom, for their own liberation. Because if we think that we had independence as a country, today tells us that we don't have any independence. That the fight for independence has lasted 65 years, and we don't want it to last a year longer. And that's why today we must not let this happen. We must not let this that happened to all the people that have gone before Anicet Ekane. We cannot forget them, because tomorrow it will be you, it will be me, it will be your brother, your sister, somebody else that's close to you. And then it may be too late for us to be able to take action, because it would have become normal to kill political prisoners, to choke people to death, to stifle them of oxygen for no crime committed in the books of our country. Yet a man has been in detention for over 40 days. And there's lots of other people that have been in detention. And we go to school as if it's normal. We open our businesses as if it's normal. We go about our daily business. We go to court as if it's normal. Yeah. It's up to us not to accept this as normal and begin tomorrow to take action out there on the streets.
I just want to add something, Ari, that before I even leave, that you've just touched a very important aspect there about the diaspora and the resources they have to make things happen. I think, we are not in Cameroon, but we are ready. I want to just say clearly that the diaspora is absolutely ready to support any street action, whichever way. We are ready to provide the sardines. right? We are ready to provide any single resource that they may need to topple that government. So they shouldn't be thinking that, oh, nobody will support us. We are absolutely ready, and even to an extent, they should know, because if they understand exactly how the I would say international diplomacy works, most of the congratulatory messages that are sent to Biya, it wasn't for his election, but for his. So they have to. This is very important, which means even the European Union and even America and even this country, they know that Biya did not win. So
And they're waiting on
ready,
Cameroonians.
as much as us, they are ready for Cameroonians to take this into their hands. We, the diaspora, we Cameroonian diaspora, we are very, very much ready. If there was an action from tomorrow morning needing whatsoever, we are absolutely ready to mobilize in terms of finance to support them to do what they do best. So
basically, Michael, I think just you need to be clear that, because people will be wondering how do they contact, they can reach out to Project C. Yes, so that we can be able to, I mean, if you organize yourself, when I don't organize myself, when I do for a group, when I get some specific thing when I want to do, and from the thing they don't talk to do, when I pick and I like a big, when I come, we'll look at how to be able to get to realize them. That's what I want to talk.
Contact Project C. You can contact Mimi Mefo anywhere you have. You can contact the Coalition of Cameroon Federalist Groups and Activists, and we will work out all these things together.
Yeah.
We are ready to support any action that you guys decide that is convenient enough for you to take up the government. We need them to go.
Yes.
We need them to go.
Yes. And in this needing them to go, our togetherness is why they're going. It's
Yes.
why they're already be cracked down. See why? I don't want to, because you nail them all the way, for real. You just brought it home, practical, down to earth, because that's what we need,
Yeah.
You just nail them straight. That's what we need. I am sick and tired of reasonable conversations at a certain point. Today is not one of those days, Let's for once just be real and talk about what is going on. I just think I'm going to go back to it. The power we have, diasporans, is the money. And I'm not doubting we can, and it's not a lot, but that we can contribute together, because without money, we are not going to defeat them. Without money, we're not going to defeat. And let me also say that the symbol of our unity is what we can do together. And what we can do together across these lines, I want to ask everybody for forgiveness before I say the next thing that I'm saying, but we get for crossover, the Bamileke group, the Meta group, and all these different places we get so much allegiance to. And I'm not saying that's not important, but that has not liberated Cameroon. If you put all the water pipes that was put in, Meta or whatever, help nobody, because they still come to, fight, right? We still are not free. Okay, so it is so important that I just think about Nigerians, my Guinean friends, many friends, they talk about Nigeria. I always hear Nigeria first before I maybe the one as a Yoruba of this, because we're always identifying, but they don't identify. It's Nigeria first. This is the first time ever that we're saying Cameroon first. So I just want to plead with everyone and say, please, let's put our money in the diaspora. The most powerful thing we can do is bring our money together. That's just what we can do. So happy to see Sandy Boston. I mean, this is what we needed today. Reality.
I have one proposal.
The second powerful one to come. At least they don't hold a fort.
So I'm gonna. When I saw her, I said, "Great, now I can leave." But yeah, see why.
I have one last proposal, please.
Yeah.
There are influencers who have built solid platform out there. People, in the way they don't build solid platform with, they feel spread out this message very well. You see, okay, just imagine, say me, see why. I believe say una know me, say now one of those influencers where they don't build platform. But if you imagine, say, all these discussions then they come out and una know my zeal, una never be able to engage me for things like this. Una know, say, I am part of this full swim. It is high time una engage influentials the way una don't see and sit them to them day. We get maybe boomer them, we get them plenty. Please, it is high time we bring these people together and make one goal. Can you imagine saying that myself I the one force myself now to be part of this? And when una know my energy and power for outside there. So una no, this is the truth. This is just the una no say me I be person for straightforward. Try to bring the right people on the table, bring them together. Move, put this thing for their brain, meet them to the spreader because they get larger platforms for spreader for the people.
See
Meet they
why?
hear the
This is
story.
important. You know why? This
Yes.
is so important because what you bring up, it's really you talk about this is what it means to get together. This is what it means for construct, for people together, you understand? Because we are building the plane as it moves on. We know, say we get the election, we work for election, but we know that it may not have been easy for them for give Shiroma a position like that, but we didn't know how it was gonna go. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we're building because I know Eric has had a meeting with bloggers. It's been, I mean, just seeing Sandy Boston, we're talking. So this is what it takes. So in one way, I'm acknowledging what you're saying, and I'm saying that is together. This is what we're building together. So this
Okay.
is
Now why now the discussion step today so now part of that because after Anicet died, all we don't vex, we don't come together. Nobody don't talk. So you see the idea they don't come out. Yeah, Sandy Boston they come. So I want just talk and say EBD at least standing a respiratory nurse. So I should say when here Anicet died, so he go know exactly how way happen because he hear about the equipment, he hear all these things, and so maybe I think that was Sandy go on really enlighten we on. Sandy, tu peux parler en français ou bien en anglais si tu veux. Parce qu'il y a.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Very courage to all of us. We are all completely distraught by what happened in Cameroon today. In a way, Anicet Ekane lived a life of somebody who was in service of his own people. And although we are mourning his death, today we think his death is not vain. Like somebody said on the panel before, this should be a new spark for the struggle. He died today for us to use this death as a fuel for our struggle. So in the following day, like you were saying, we should really work on making our people realize how important, crucial, and time specific it is to be there and protesting against this brutal regime. Because the more time goes, the more people, and that's what the regime wants. They want us to forget about the elections. They want us to get on about our lives as if nothing happened, as if it was business as usual. And they are hoping that with time, because they know that Cameroonians suffer, people live on a daily basis. They don't have much to live on. They'll need to go to work. They'll need to go and hustle and bustle like they do to survive. So they are hoping that Cameroonians will just give up and say, okay, this has gone on for too long. We need to go back to our lives. But we are telling them that this is not going to go away. And the death of Anicet Ekane happened at the time when people were starting to get fatigued. And now the anger is out there. People are completely angry. They are ready to go out there and say enough is enough. We had enough. We cannot carry on like this. Today is Anicet Ekane. Tomorrow, who is it going to be? Earlier on, I was live on Facebook, and I was saying to those opposition leaders who pretended to be outraged by the killing of young Cameroonians during the protest, but for them celebrating with Paul Biya in Etudi, I mean, the whole of the political class has abandoned the struggle into the hands of President Chiroma. Because when you observe, who is out there to among all our political leaders, among the opposition leaders, who is talking about the death of Cameroonians? Who is out there to be outraged by what happened today to Anicet Ekane? What political leaders have stand out and say, this shouldn't happen in our country today as we are talking? How many of them? How many of them? So we cannot stay like that and wait for them. Like you said, we should organize ourselves. We are the people, and we will organize ourselves, and we will be out there to say, enough is enough. Even those who are hiding, those who think by keeping silent they will escape, they won't escape. That regime has no friends. Mendoza was Pobia's best friend. He even sacrificed his own son to save Frank Biya, and we know the end of him. We know how he died. Humiliated. They brought the CRTV cameras to go and take pictures of him on his head. Who can do that? Who can do that? None of us are spared from the brutality of this regime. Whether those opposition leaders are hiding or not, one day they'll be crushed. Like Atanga say, we are the condiment and he is the Moulinex. So we Cameroonians are now the condiments that they are going to crush in the Moulinex. Whoever you are, if you keep quiet, you'll be crushed. Because when your turn arrives, no one will speak up. This is the time for all of us to stand up and say, no, enough is enough. We had enough.
He has crushed us and turned us into hot pepper soup that will enter his eyes.
His big eyes. Honestly, yeah. Even was going to come to diaspora and chase all of us. He had the cheek to threaten us. We are waiting for him here in the UK.
Yeah, let him come to the UK and let's see. Let him come to the UK.
And say to the British government that we were inciting for people to go out and protest. And he would tell them why he killed young kids. I have my second daughter, she's 15 years old. Kids of my daughter's age were taken out of the classrooms and taken to places where nobody knows, just because they were suspected of being part of the protest. And Cameroonians, we cannot accept this to go on. We cannot accept this. Cameroon has become a military state where everyone is afraid of talking, of saying anything. Somebody was saying today in one of the programs that when they take you to the gendarmerie and they release you, the first taxi you take is a gendarme taxi. What kind of a state is that? They cannot invest on roads and hospitals. They invest on surveilling 30 millions of Cameroonians. Spying on millions of Cameroonians. Who can do that? Anyway, talking about Anicet Ekane, and this is why the whole of today, I don't think anyone who is a combatant could do anything today. Every combatant I was calling was crying like a baby. Big men crying like babies because this is horrible. Who can do that to a human being? He was 74 years old, for goodness sake. He's an elderly man. He was an elderly man. He was ill. This man suffered from COVID in 2019. And the COVID was so severe that he was left with damaged lungs. And in medical terms, we call that long COVID. Because when you are left with damaged lungs after COVID, you are very vulnerable to those who are lucky to pneumonia, recurrent respiratory disease. But for him, he was left with type 2 respiratory failure, where his lungs could no longer function independently. So he needed a machine that he was using the whole night to help him get rid of the carbon dioxide in his body so that he could function normally during the day. And when you have that your lungs are no longer able to function normally, this is for the rest of your life. You have to use that machine. It becomes like a second skin to you. Same as when somebody has kidney failure, they go and do dialysis 2-3 times a week. like Clement Tangana, he suffers with dialysis, with kidney failure. Well, this is not a medical secret because it's out there. Anyway, they cannot tell us that Clement Tangana today is so ill that he can die tomorrow. It's a chronic condition that people live a normal life within the limitations of the disease, as long as they have the adequate treatment. So Anicet Ekane has been having this condition for 4 years. Of course, he was diminished, but he was leading his life, living with his machine at night with no issues. It's the same as when somebody has asthma, they go everywhere with their puffer, because when they have a crisis, they just puff and that saves their life. If you remove the Ventolin, the puffer to someone who has asthma, you will kill them. If you remove insulin to somebody who has diabetes, which is what they did to Maurice Kamto in 2019, and we know that because they arrested Maurice Kamto in January 2019, along with all the leaders for MSA, CRM, and they denied him access to medical care. How were we aware? Is because his spokesperson, Pipu Nisak, who is himself in jail now, came out and alerted the whole world, because this is an international crime to refuse to deny medical treatment to someone, when, especially when they don't have the liberty to do what they should do on the daily life. You remove, you put somebody in jail and you deny them treatment. That's what they did to Maurice Kamto, and that's how Bibu Nisak came out and had a press conference and said they are refusing him to have access to his medications and to his doctors, and he's suffering from this condition. And we all know that if you don't have those medications, you will die. The same threat they made to Issa Chiroma during the campaign. When he left the government, President Chiroma was in his house, and 2 people from DGRE came to his house, and they said they were sent by Pobia, and they said Pobia has sent him a message to say he doesn't understand why he's now talking bad about the government he was serving not long ago. And he was sending him a message to say he has his dossier, that if he carries on doing what he's doing, he will arrest him and they will remove his medications for 2 months and he will die. So, taking into account what they did to Maurice Kamto in 2019, the threats that they did to President Chiroma during the campaign, you understand that this is their modus operandi. This is something they have the habit to do. They have been doing it, and they do it all the time. When they arrest somebody and they know that person is vulnerable, they remove him access to medical care. And this is a medical crime. So they deliberately chose to kill Anicet Ekane by removing him the machine that was keeping him alive. Because without that machine, his lungs were unable to expel the bad gases out of his body. And the bad gases started building up in his bloodstream. And they went into his vital organs and damaged them. So he has been dying slowly for a month since they arrested him and removed his machine. And now Commandant Otulu, because he saw all the noise we were making about those machines, because the lawyers alerted the world, the family alerted the world, his party alerted the world, and we started making posts about that. So he knew that something was coming, a drama was coming. He sent the machine back on Thursday after 1 month of removing the machine out of an elderly ill man. And then on Sunday, he organized a program on Canal 2 to wash his name, where all the panel were saying good things about him and blaming Anicet Ekane. But God has refused that this crime should be hidden. As they were talking, Anicet Ekane was dying. And this morning, they removed the program out of all the social media. Luckily, some people have managed to record the program. Which country? Where do you do that? What's this country? Who are those people? Who put them there? Who are they? Who are they? We need to get rid of them. And honestly, I am so happy to see that we are all on the same level, and I could see the outrage. I could see you guys being very outraged about what's going on in our country, and we are all on the same level. We should now join hands. Like somebody said, we should make sure that the guys on ground zero have everything they need to do the job that needs to be done, because there is a job that needs to be done. And we have at some point to say, okay, the political leaders have initiated, but now it's time for the people to do what they have to do. We will have to go out there and fight with everything we have, because we are now in a situation of do or die. It's either we do it and we succeed, or we don't and we all die. And I know what I'd rather do. I will fight with everything I have, and I hope every single Cameroonian out there is in that state of mind. So thank you so much for having me, and I am not going to keep the but
Vaillant frère, vaillant combattant, qui est mort les armes à la main.
Merci.
Sur le champ de bataille.
Il est mort. 52 ans de combat, 52 ans de sacrifice, 52 ans d'altruisme. Mon Dieu, c'est une vie. C'est toute une vie au service d'une nation. On doit du respect à ce monsieur. On lui doit du respect. 52 ans de sacrifice. Il pouvait très bien prendre son petit parti et jouer la politique que je vois les autres jouer là. Que les élections arrivent, il fait le parti Yango, on lui paie 1 milliard, après il fait semblant de dénoncer, après il se retire, comme tous les autres leaders politiques sont en train de faire la comédie de l'opposition. Les partis d'opposition que j'ai appelés les pots de fleurs. They are there as flower pots that the regime used to decorate the political field to make people think that there is a political contest in Cameroon, but there is none. There were elections yesterday. Il y avait des régionales hier. Le RDPC a gagné dans toute l'étendue du territoire. Where is the democracy? Where is it? Les élections qu'il y avait hier là, le RDPC a gagné partout. Il n'y a que dans le Noun qu'ils ont perdu. Où est le multipartisme? Où est la démocratie? Il y a 220 partis au Cameroun, non? Pourquoi le RDPC gagne partout? Et on veut que les partis d'opposition participent à cette mascarade. Non, il n'y a pas de démocratie au Cameroun, je suis désolé. Il n'y a pas de démocratie, il n'y a pas d'élection tant que le régime de Paul Biya est là et qu'il vole les élections, qu'il impose sa volonté, qu'il torture, il tue, il assassine le peuple pour se maintenir au pouvoir. Anicet Ekane, un combattant dans l'âme. Il a été en prison, je vais parler en anglais parfois, je parle. Il a été en prison plus de 2 fois. C'est grâce à Anicet Ekane et à son combat en 90 que le SDF vient et que John Frundi gagne l'élection en 92. C'est encore Anicet Ekane qui porte la candidature de John Frundi en 1992. On n'a pas un autre leader d'une générosité comme ce monsieur qui est parti. D'une générosité politique. Quelqu'un qui était un leader lui-même, lui, il a été candidat 2 fois. Mais il a reconnu à un moment donné qu'il y avait des leaders qui avaient une aura plus grande que la sienne. Et au lieu de prétendre qu'ils pouvaient compétir contre eux, si tu reconnais que quelqu'un ne peut pas supporter son sac, c'est ce qu'Anicet Ekane a fait. Il a reconnu que Maurice Kamto était un leader qui avait le vent en poupe, qui avait le peuple derrière lui. Il a créé une dynamique, il s'est mis derrière lui. Il a reconnu que Issa Chiroma, après l'élimination de Maurice Kamto, c'était quelqu'un qui commençait à porter les aspirations du peuple. Qu'est-ce qu'il a fait? Il a créé l'Union pour le changement, qui a changé. L'Union pour le changement was a game changer in the campaign. It was a game changer. At a time when no one believed that President Chiroma could make it. He created that Union pour le changement. People were out there saying, oh, it's a scam. Oh, there's no one behind that Union pour le changement. It's just him. He's just creating something like that. You're talking about the consensual candidate of opposition. What was the consensus? Who was it the consensus? But he stayed firm in position and he said, we have decided Issa Chiroma is the consensual candidate. And what a generous contribution to our struggle. How can a Cameroonian leader put himself behind and carry others, put them at the forefront, because he recognized that they have the qualities that are required to lead the struggle. I have not seen another politician in Cameroon who is so generous, very generous, who sacrifices his own political party to help someone else be a candidate. Si on ne rend pas hommage à ce monsieur, si on ne défend pas ce monsieur, si on ne s'indigne pas pour sa mort, on aura tué tous les martyrs dans notre lutte. C'est de ça qu'il s'agit. Il s'agit aujourd'hui de lutter pour un martyr qui a lutté pour nous jusqu'au sacrifice suprême, qui est mort les armes à main. 2 days before he died, he said he'd rather be asphyxiated by the regime than give under pressure. That's what he said. He didn't know that he was going to die a couple of days later. But he said, il a dit, il préfère être asphyxié par le régime de Biya que de céder à la pression. Quel modèle de la lutte. Quel altruisme. Quand nous autres, on va se plaindre qu'on a fait 7 ans de combat, on est fatigué, mais tu regardes un monsieur qui a fait 52 ans, même étant malade, n'arrivait pas à respirer, mais se sacrifie pour son peuple, et tu ne te lèves pas que tu es qui? Tu ne te lèves pas que tu es qui? Il aurait pu, le RDPC a dit partout que, oh, il pouvait rester chez lui, il n'avait plus les moyens de sa lutte, il était malade, et lui-même le savait. Mais ça ne l'a pas empêché de faire 1 semaine de campagne du nord au sud, de l'est à l'ouest avec Issa Chiroma. Ça ne l'a pas empêché de dire qu'on va m'arrêter. Il savait qu'on allait l'arrêter. Il a dit, je les attends chez moi, ils vont venir m'arrêter. Il s'est sacrifié pour nous. Nous sommes qui? Moi-même, à un moment donné, après la campagne, j'étais un peu fatiguée, j'étais un peu épuisée. Je me suis un peu retirée. Je me suis dit, OK, Sandy, prends un peu de recul et vois comment tu peux faire maintenant. Mais la mort d'Anicet Ekane est venue me dire que non, tu es qui pour te fatiguer? Si un papa de 74 ans avait la maladie, était en train de se battre jusqu'à mourir les armes à main, tu es qui pour te fatiguer? Lève-toi, Sandy. Lève-toi.
Yep.
Lève-toi. Et je suis debout. Je suis debout résolument. Et j'espère que tous les Camerounais seront debout pour dire à ce régime qu'on en a marre, on est fatigué. Et on va se battre jusqu'à la dernière goutte de sang. Jusqu'à la dernière goutte de sang, on va se battre. On ne lâche pas. On ne tourne pas la page. Il nous dit que non, tourner la page, l'élection présidentielle est passée. On ne passe pas. Ce n'est pas passé.
Let them start by first moving on. Let's see. If they can move on, they should have moved on. They would have even done a cabinet. They can't move on because you know that there's a comment that people say that before you steal the village drum, first of all, look for the place where you're going to play it. They've stolen the village drum. They don't have anywhere to play it. They can't move on.
Let's see how they go.
Move on. They're telling us to move on when they can't move on. Let them move on. Let's see.
They say, ils ont dit que l'ordre régnera. Depuis que Paul Biya dit que l'ordre régnera. L'ordre règne, non, qui gouverne, on voit. L'ordre est en train de régner. Ils ont tué les Camerounais, ils nous ont massacrés, ils nous ont mis dans le moulinex, ils nous ont écrasés, ils ont dit que l'ordre va régner. L'ordre est en train de régner, gouverner, alors on voit. C'est de ça qu'il s'agit. Gouverner, on voit. Donc, ça va vous dépasser. Vous n'arrivez pas. Il n'y aura pas de paix au Cameroun. Il n'y aura pas.
I think that there will be as soon as Biya goes. I think someone is asking if the ghost town strategy is working. He is working, but I think that Anicet's dead. And let's explain how it's working. It's that it's the ghost towns from the first one, it caused a lot of pain on Yaoundé. Most people didn't say it. Ghost towns didn't. It's not similar to that of the Anglophone regions where you lock down 2 regions and people can move to the other regions, and you know, people can pop in and pop out, and Yaoundé can pretend that nothing is happening. The ghost town that involves the whole country, once it is effective in the north and in the east, and just little parts of the west and the littoral, the country is struggling. The last one, the first one that was 3 days, had a massive impact. Yaoundé started struggling in terms of basic things like onion, beef. They started disappearing in Yaoundé. That is the power of the ghost town. So do not be discouraged by it because you're thinking, oh wait, I stayed 1 day. What did it actually do? It did nothing, because they will tell you it's doing nothing. They are trying to get you back on. But what actually happens is that those ghost towns means that a lot is not happening in Yaoundé, and it's also delegitimizing them, because what they want to show to the rest of the world so they can continue to borrow money in your name is that things are fine. Now, when you do a ghost town and it is respected in parts of the country, like it was today in most parts of the country, at least 6 or 7 regions today. Yes, we focus so much on following Anicet Ekane. I'm sure that you'll see it in the news tomorrow. People will be bringing it. At least 6 or 7 regions where, I think, a part of Douala and Yaoundé and a few other places where some areas were not. But generally, it's created the impact. And this is a show of force that is making international bodies that were giving loans to the regime not to give loans anymore, because they don't want to give loans to someone who is not in charge. You have to prove that you're in charge of the country to be able to get loans. So that is the power of the ghost towns. Now, the second thing is that it is shutting down, and we've said it, and this is something that we've said and people are going to start implementing, is that you need to be able to understand that you need to start thinking about what you do to take away the oxygen from Yaoundé, the way they took oxygen from the lungs of Anicet Ekane. And the only way you can do that is to sit in your own area. There is a tiny little road going to Yaoundé. If you stop everyone from even moving from there, because it's only the rich guys, those who benefit from Yaoundé, would actually need those roads. The ordinary people don't need those roads. Block those roads and block them. Once you do that, I can tell you 1 week, they will have no way to go. Yaoundé, they will be begging that they should open the doors for them to go out. These actions are things that everyone can organize. You've heard from Project C, you've heard from the coalition of Cameroonian groups and activists, you've heard from different people. There are people in the diaspora ready to support those type of non-violent actions that are very impactful. People think that action only means that you buy guns and go out. No, who will you fight? You fight your own brothers, and it will not actually affect Yaoundé. No, we are not falling for that trap anymore. We know the things that hurts them. It's their purse, the money. When you are able to hit where the money is, when they are not able to get money to borrow money for Chantal to be able to buy hair again, they will have a problem. Chantal needs money for to be changing her hair. Brenda needs money to be able to get the next private jet. If they don't give money to Brenda, she's going to come out with another big one. So they had to bribe her, do everything, give her a private jet so that she doesn't talk. But you have the power to stop that money, and you can do it. We are here in the diaspora. We can support that in ways that will be impactful, that will be not cost anyone's life, that would be less risky for you. Just think, I don't want to say it out here, but Cameroon is vast and it's easy to do it. What we need to do is that you need to just wait. I think that there will be a lot of discussions about how to take it the next step. You could hear Are talking about Project C from tomorrow. I'm sure that you'll probably see the communications. Watch out for that communications. When the action is called out, get involved. I can tell you that what you think you might be losing in terms of financial or material stuff, we are going to be able to work out means that Cameroonians in the diaspora, they are ready. They just need to know that there are people committed to be able to take out some of these actions, non-violence, impactful actions, which are going to create the maximum impact on Yaoundé. But you don't have to go to Yaoundé. They keep telling you that, oh, come to Yaoundé because they have gathered the military and they are in Yaoundé. We won't go out on the streets of Yaoundé, but we'll make the people in Yaoundé not have food. will make the people of Yaoundé not be able to have fuel. If the roads are blocked, how will fuel get to Yaoundé? Have you asked yourself that? How will fuel get to Yaoundé? Is there another way they will carry fuel to Yaoundé? Think about it. How do they get fuel to Yaoundé? So if there's no fuel in Yaoundé for 1 week, what will happen? Taxes will be grounded. That goes down. That's how the impact of this. So you have to start thinking about this. People would want to say, oh, you are trying to create disorder. Cameroon is in disorder already. It's been for the last 43 years. Cameroon is in total disorder. We are trying to amplify it so that we can create order. You have to think. I don't want to spell it all out, but we have seen it with the young guys in the north, and it worked like magic. Today, I saw the videos. All those camions were lined up. They didn't do anything to it, but just keeping them for 24 hours is logistics. A country runs on logistics. Keep them down for 24 hours, 48 hours in all the different regions. If Fumbo doesn't give tomatoes, the rest of Douala will not have. Douala doesn't produce tomatoes, but we don't want to publish the people of Douala, so it can come to Douala, but it will not go to Yaoundé. Now, there are two ways that fuel moves in Cameroon: by road and by the train lines. So stop those logistics, and these guys will suffer. Yaoundé will suffer. And that is what they are scared. They are hoping that you will not know about this, that you will not see how panicky they have become. They are scared that you will know that they held a security meeting last Thursday in Gaoundere just to talk about the impact of ghost towns, what it did to them in Yaoundé. Sandy, seems like everyone is tired. It's past midnight here, so it's this. I think maybe we should yes. Maybe you have a few words, any more words, final words, so we can go.
Yes, like you were saying, there are no actions that we should neglect. Every single thing, every single throw that can hurt the regime, we need to take it into account and we need to execute it. The struggle has many dimensions. You have the political dimension, you have the economic dimension, you have the diplomatic dimension, and you have the popular mobilization on the ground as well. So we cannot estimate the importance of one aspect at the detriment of another. As people will mobilize on the ground, that will also alert the international community, and that in turn will also alert the World Financial Organization that are lending money to the government, and so on and so forth. So we have to be active on all those parts of the struggle in order to put that regime down. Yes, it is hard. Yes, it is long, but we do what we have to do by bearing in mind that we also have to think about our people on the ground. We need to keep them safe. We need to make sure the regime is not killing them needlessly when we can have other strategies that do not put them at risk. And we also have to be very efficient in what we do because we don't have the state resources like them. We are ordinary people trying to organize ourselves against a government machine. So yes, we would do what we have to do, and some of the actions are not so visible, the effects are not so obvious, but they are hurting them very much. If you see the regional division officers on the ground begging people to open their shops, then you know that we have touched where it hurts.
It's hurting them. If it wasn't impactful, they would have been quiet.
Exactly. They would have been in the offices laughing at us saying, oh, those people. But they are actually on the ground. Every time there is a ghost town, you see them. Even one yesterday nearly lost his life because the people were so angry. So you see them going out in the streets and begging people to open their little businesses is because they know it is hurting. Cameroon is a failing country. Cameroon is a country that is on its knees. And that's why they are being so violent, because they know that if we carry on, they can't sustain the level of struggle that we will bring to them. We need to carry on, and those people, honestly, like somebody said, 11 February is not impossible, it's achievable, and we just need to be very strategic about how we organize and do the struggle. Thank you very much for having me tonight, and I hope that we will have another communication like this one in the following days. I'm taking some time off work this week. I'm doing other work, but I'll make myself available because the time that we are experiencing now needs us to be all hands on deck and be out there
Absolutely.
to motivate our people. So yes, thank you so much. Thank
Well,
you. And
I should thank you. I should thank Elizabeth. Muna was here. Are Benson, Michael Takie, Chris, CYO Pancho, everyone who came on. Sandy Boston who just jumped in. This was not planned. We just came on. We hijacked MMI News, their platform, to be able to let it out of our system. But I think that we need to be having these discussions daily or as much as possible. And I would encourage Cameroonians, those in the comments who were listening. We have across 5, 6, 7 platforms that I was just checking. I can see the numbers. We had thousands of people watching on Rebecca Enonchong's Twitter, on MMI News, Facebook, Twitter, on Talk with Mimefo on YouTube. We had people over all these platforms, and they've stayed glued to this. And this is already part of the sacrifice. Just to sit here, be engaged in these discussions, because the worst thing that can happen is people not talking to themselves. So we want to thank everyone who came out. It wasn't announced, it wasn't planned. The contributions you've heard. Project C is ready to change Cameroon. C stands for Cameroon, Project Cameroon. C stands for change. C stands for anything positive that you can think about. So they are willing to work with other groups. Sandy is here. She's been driving this for as long as I can remember, from 2019 to 2018. She's not stopped. So if she's taking a break to even rest, I'm saying you need it, because we don't want you to burn out. But I can tell you one thing, what it costs sometimes, Sandy would know this again, what it costs sometimes to do one protest in front of the Cameroon High Commission. Sometimes it takes at least £1,000 or more. When you take two together, just the resources, sometimes we had to even get eggs and ketchup and stuff and fill them out in Sandy's booth. It costs a lot. Now, guess what? We could do that and feel good about ourselves, or we could take that money and put it to better use in Cameroon. So think about that. And if you organize and people are organized in Cameroon, and you reach out to Project C and say, we are organized, we are in this area, we are organized, we are the vigilante group here, and we are the anti-gang, we are ready to sort out the issue of this area. Trust me, you will get the resources to be able to do that. That's all I can tell you tonight. Thank you so much, Sandy, and thank you everyone who was following. Have a good night.
thank you.